Good morning. Well, it's all about the fallout as Robert Jenrick defects to Reform.
Well, he claims that the Conservatives broke Britain as he attacks former colleagues following the move.
The Conservative Party in Westminster isn't sorry, it doesn't get it, it hasn't changed, it won't change, it can't change.
But the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, hits back and says, good riddance.
The public are tired of all of this psychodrama, all of this personal ambition, everyone trying to, harm the other person. I'm sick of it, and I'm just done. My message to Nigel Farage is Robert Jenrick is not my problem, he's your problem.
Yes, a dramatic 24 hours in British politics. I've got everything you need to know about the latest shock defection to Reform UK.
Well, following that shock defection, we're asking this morning, should defectors face an automatic by-election?
Also today, the Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Marshall gives her award to President Trump during a meeting at the White House.
A lone British officer is sent to Greenland as NATO allies have begun deploying military personnel to the territory. It's as diplomatic efforts in Washington collapsed over President Trump's demands to take control of it.
Under new plans, veterans will be able to be recalled for service until they're 65. That's under measures aimed at preparing Britain for war.
The deadline for submitting evidence to postpone local elections has now passed, with millions of people now seeing theirs delayed.
And school staff are being urged to teach children how to use AI, despite warnings that it's set to cause an era of mass unemployment.
And sport this morning, still maybe a year and a half away, but the Tour de France is coming back to Britain. Thomas Frank has even more injury worries as Spurs get ready to take on West Ham tomorrow. And after snooker's golden ball, it's time for darts' golden bull.
A fair few showers around today and quite blustery, particularly towards the west and southwest. And then overnight, watch out for some fog and low cloud developing. I'll have the details coming up.
It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Well, if you're single this morning, you might be wondering, well, why haven't I met my perfect match? Well, the answer may be you're just too brainy. You're just too clever.
Well, that's some consolation,
It's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, this is research from the University of Zurich, and they have been talking to a bunch of 29-year-olds about their physical characteristics, their social backgrounds, that kind of thing. And they found there were higher levels of education amongst those that were single. So you could just be too brainy for love. Oh. I don't get what the correlation is.
I'm struggling with this one, actually. I'm struggling with this one.
That's because we're thick.
Oh, yes.
Because we're all married.
We're all married.
That's
we
why.
Don't count.
So that's...
Oh, yeah, so that's why I don't really understand that.
We're a bit dim with it.
Why
but that's
would...
fine. I'd rather be dim and married than...
Why would you... So if you think to... Is it because you're thinking too much about who the perfect person's going to be and thinking, yeah, but you're not this, and then maybe I'll think more about you don't have that. And
maybe you analyse the person's behaviour too much, find too many red flags.
You're too logical. You're going with your head and not your heart.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Is it always best to go with your heart, not your head, do you think?
I think so.
I think in love it is, yeah.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Oh, very good, Stephen.
Thank you.
Can I just quickly ask you?
Yes.
So bull and bull. Yes. You said that I say the same thing, same?
Yeah, well...
So how would you say bull and bull and bull?
Well, ball...
For bullseye.
Ball.
What was that?
Ball.
That was the round ball.
Yeah.
And the bull, the middle of the darts.
I've got the advantage being a northerner. Bull.
What are the two words?
The same.
What are the two words you're trying to say?
Ball.
Ball like
and
a football.
Bull.
You just sound like the king saying bull.
Ball, a round ball, and the middle of the dart, and a bull.
Oh, bull.
I can't tell the difference, and I'm saying it. I'll work on it.
We'll find out. I want to know what a golden, not a golden. What's
golden bullseye.
What's the bull one?
The bull is what bull? Are you saying bull or bull?
Bull.
What of the bullseye? Oh, that, yeah, the bull.
What's that? It's not a golden.
That's the darts, a golden bull.
Is it a golden bull?
Yes. Holy moly.
Anyway, I'm lost. Let us know what you think.
I'm going to drop the story. I can't do it. It's that one.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Coity. We'll see you in 20 minutes' time.
Dear me. Well, we thought we'd better start with some madness, because wasn't the world of politics mad yesterday? It's not very often I get up, I have a little nap when I get back. It's not very often I get up and deliberately tune in to watch a press conference.
We were hooked yesterday, weren't we?
Yes, I was messaging you, wasn't I?
Yeah, we were hooked. It was just the most incredible 24 hours in politics.
It really was. This is going to have big impacts. It's former Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick has defected to Reform UK, but after being kicked out of the Tory party.
Yeah, in the most sensational way. Well, our news presenter, Sophia Wensler, is here to explain. Morning to you, Sophia.
Good morning, both of you, and thank you, yes. After weeks of speculation, the former Shadow Justice Secretary has defected to Reform UK in spectacular fashion. It all started yesterday morning when the Tory party leader, Kemi Badenoch, posted this to X.
I was very sorry to be presented with clear, irrefutable evidence, not just that he was preparing to defect, but he was planning to do so in the most damaging way possible to the Conservative Party and his shadow cabinet colleagues. It is my responsibility to protect our party, and faced with that information, I took the only decision that any responsible leader could.
Yes, seemingly out of nowhere, Kemi Badenoch sacked Robert Jenrick from her shadow cabinet over what she called irrefutable evidence that he had left lying around. The announcement seemed to take the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage off guard. He was in Scotland at the time, delivering his own press conference. And here's what he had to say when quizzed about it yesterday morning.
So there's a lot of people seriously considering their future. As far as Mr Jenrick's concerned, of course I've talked to Robert Jenrick. Was I on the verge of signing a document with him? No. But have we had conversations? Yes.
But just as things seemed to calm down, Robert Jenrick finally took to X to say this: it's time for the truth. And after being the centre of attention all day, it was finally time for the former Shadow Justice Secretary to take the stage himself, and he wasted no time in attacking his former party.
Two main parties are rotten. They are no longer fit for purpose. They both broke Britain, and neither can fix it. The Conservative Party in Westminster isn't sorry. It doesn't get it. It hasn't changed. It won't change. It can't change.
Meanwhile, the Tory party leader, Kemi Badenoch, seemed happy to see the back of him. She said he's now Nigel Farage's problem and not her problem. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister, he's been waiting in the wings. He condemned Reform UK and the Conservatives over what unfolded.
Well, my question is, why did it take so long? Jenrick's been making toxic comments to try and divide our country for months and months and months.
It was the most incredible day yesterday, Sophia. Do we have any idea what's going to happen next?
Well, the new Reform MP, he hasn't been given a specific role just yet, but Nigel Farage has said that he seems to think it will be likely he will take the next top role at the Reform UK party. And it's been an explosive day in politics for Britain, and now all eyes are on Reform UK to see what will happen next.
Sophia, thank you. Let's talk to political commentator Theo Usherwood. Good to see you this morning, Theo. What a day!
It was an incredible day, yes, wasn't it? Look, when you're looking at defections from and we knew that there were some in the offing, there are none from the Conservative Party to Reform that are bigger than what happened yesterday. It is the biggest story. Only perhaps Boris Johnson defected, but we know that's not going to happen because he can't occupy the same space as Nigel Farage. So, you know, this was a complete realignment. This was the moment that we all knew at some point was going to happen. And the question now is, and Sophia was saying, you know, eyes on Reform UK, but also eyes on the Tories to see who follows. You know, is it because Nigel Farage was smart yesterday when he set a deadline for defection before the local elections? What he doesn't want to do is to end up, and this is, you'll see the front page, I'm sure you're discussing with Claire and Nigel later, the front page of the Mirror is going to be the Labour attack line, which is, you know, this is just the Tories 2.0, right? This is just a rebranding of the Tory party, and Nigel Farage can't allow that to happen.
Well, where does this leave the Tory party? Because actually this story began yesterday with Kemi Badenoch and that incredible video from her about 11 o'clock trying to get ahead of this announcement from Robert Jenrick. Do you think in doing that she proved her mettle? Is it a win for Kemi and a loss for the Tories? Is that fair to say?
I'm not sure. I think that the problem is for Kemi Badenoch is far bigger than you know, the management of this speech. And the Times is reporting there was a leak of a speech that Robert Jenrick was planning to give. And yes, she managed to get ahead of it, and it was perhaps better than the Tories could have hoped for, given the scare, you know, the importance of Robert Jenrick to the Conservative project over the last year or so. You know, the way he's been sort of, you know, driving the agenda on justice and crime has been, you know, one of the successes, I would say, of the Tories in opposition. But you can't sugarcoat the fact that the Tories are now and have been in crisis. Yes, Kemi's been doing better at PMQs. Yes, her polling is slightly up. But you know, over the course of this weekend, I'm sure many Tory MPs will be wondering, actually, if they're going to jump, they're going to have to do it very soon. Yeah. They're going to have to, and you could end up in a situation where Nigel Farage's party, in Parliament at least, grows quite significantly, given he's only got 6 MPs now, with a number of other defections, because, you know, after the local elections, if the results and 2.5 million people are not going to have the right to vote, because many of these local elections have been deferred again, but we're still expecting some, you know, fairly seismic results come near the beginning of May.
I mean, the interesting thing is, I mean, this whole Tory Party 2.0 and all the rest of it, you know, right, it's a line, and you can imagine that, and we'll have a look at our viewers and listeners in a moment, but you can imagine there are a number of Reform voters who aren't necessarily thrilled by what's happened, but in a way, it's almost not about them at this stage, is it? It's about those Tory voters who are thinking, I don't know if I would trust Reform quite at the minute, but I'm not very happy with what the Tories are doing. A significant, solid figure like Jenrick going, the man who was very nearly leader, is going to be enough to pull you would think, at least, a substantial number of people over.
Yes, but also to your point you just made, I think a number of those people have already moved across. You know, I was down in Kent, you know, the end of last year, speaking to a number of Tory councillors, which was an event where I was speaking, and you know, they'd already made the switch because they kept on going out onto the doorstep with no message from CCHQ, and finding themselves completely flummoxed with what to say. So they'd already made that jump. The Tory party right now, those left, are actually sort of Cameroons, are believed to be, you know, they're very cagey about, you know, who make up their membership and their exact numbers. But they're, you know, the thinking is that actually they're quite sort of centre-right, Cameroon, Osborneites. You know, they are not of the right of the party. Those members of the Conservative Party have already jumped.
OK. Theo, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you in the next hour.
Right. Should we talk to political commentator Matthew Stadlen and Reform Council leader Harrison Allman-Varty? Good to see you both this morning. Harrison, let's start with you on this one, because I'm intrigued as to your perspective, because there is this criticism that the party is becoming a little bit Tory 2.0. Does the defection of someone like Jenrick add to that, or is taking on board the professionalism worth the risk?
Good morning. I mean, it was a belter of a day for Reform UK yesterday. I think, to be honest, Nigel Farage is there to take on people that can add. That was the explicit thing from yesterday's conference. And I think there's no sort of spin that you can put on this, that this was a bad day for Reform. The fact that they've been able to basically take on the Conservatives' most popular Member of Parliament, not only just a Member of Parliament, but the Shadow Justice Secretary, over to Reform is huge. This will be the day that, yesterday will be the day that will be underlined in history, politics books when it comes to the realignment of the centre-right politics in this country. It was absolutely massive, and you'd have to do some serious mental gymnastics to put any other sort of negative spin on this reform, which I think some left-wing commentators have been doing online. It's absolutely huge, and I think, Nigel is there to simply take on those that can add, and Robert Jenrick has a huge amount of experience that will help stir the party, both professionally and also from the back office perspective, so it's ready to run when it gets elected in 2029.
Matthew, do you consider Robert Jenrick a win for Reform UK?
This is, guys, good morning to everyone. This is just crazy analysis. Stephen, you say that Robert Jenrick is a solid figure. I can hear Conservative MPs chuckling into their cornflakes. He literally told, according to Camilla Tominey, your fellow GB News presenter, he literally told her days ago that he would never defect. This is a man that Nigel Farage himself publicly last August told us all, told the world, was a fraud. Nigel Farage said that he had always thought him to be a fraud.
So that's
Robert Jenrick
himself.
himself. Let me just finish, please, without interrupting, if you could do me that courtesy. Robert Jenrick himself is reported in The Telegraph to have been telling Tory members last year that Nigel Farage couldn't even run a five-a-side football team. This is a man who had a very, very public and toxic spat with Zia Youssef, someone your viewers will also be familiar with, someone I've debated with man to man for an hour on GB News on Michelle Dewberry's show. I simply don't know who I feel more embarrassed for.
All right,
This is obviously a typical reaction of someone who's devastated that they're seeing the mainstream parties melt before their eyes. I think it could be the literal saint coming across to Reform, and I'm sure that they will say, oh yes, but this and that. I mean, it's a complete natural reaction. I get it. The world's crumbling in front of their eyes. It makes sense. Look, it was a massive win for Reform. The membership's gone up. It's a particularly massive win for areas like I am in Surrey, where lots of voters who were thinking, oh, but if they win, would they know what they're doing, in the sense of absolutely. They've got such a team now where people who have, in fairness, right, I'm not giving it Robert a clean slate, but neither did himself yesterday. He said, look, there are failures, and I think the fact that he's able to recognise them internally is actually the reason why Nigel has gone perfect. It's that self-criticism to be able to go, look, we got it wrong, but I know what to do to get it right. It is essentially the USP here. And that is essentially why now Nigel's put that May the 7th deadline on. So anybody who is serious about wanting to actually help deliver for the party and therefore, in essence, the country later on, will have that opportunity now, but not later.
But Harrison, to Matthew's point, what does this mean for the dynamics and the relationships within Reform? How happy is Zia Youssef to now see a number of Boris Johnson's cabinet come over to Reform UK? And where does it leave Nigel Farage? Does it not give you the sense that this is two very big fish in a very small pond?
Look, I'll be honest. If you look at from Robert Jenrick's point of view, he's gone from being tipped to be the next Conservative leader to joining Reform, where your prospects of being leader is nil because of just how the confidence of the party is in Nigel Farage. So I actually think in that sense that the point's null, because Robert Jenrick's actually on, well, look, if I'm an opportunist, I'd obviously stay in the Tory party because I don't have to wait a few months. The May elections will go terribly for me, and I'll probably be leader once Kemi goes. So I think from an opportunist point of view, Robert was probably best off to sit in the Conservative Party, and he'd have been promoted by default. The fact he's come over to Reform is, I genuinely believe what he said yesterday is that this is not about political ambition. It's about that shared value to help the country.
Sorry,
all right,
guys.
you two. I'm really sorry, Matthew. We're out of time. I wish we had longer, but good to see you both. Thanks very much indeed. Loads of you getting in touch this morning. Freddie says Jenrick's defection means Badenoch is now leading a party of one nation Tory wets who belong in the Lib Dems.
Karen says Jenrick was always coming over. Now it's just sooner. Welcome, Mr Jenrick. I consider this a huge asset to Reform. Ian says, vote Reform, get the same old Tories. Why would I bother?
Tim says, Kemi is strong, but the Tories, sadly, are a sinking ship that even Captain Birdseye can't save.
Yeah. I got a text yesterday during that press conference by Robert Jenrick and Nigel Farage. Somebody saying that was the most important testimony that I've seen in a very long time. I'm impressed. And I said, what do you think? He said, in my eyes, this is a future Prime Minister that we're looking at. I think this is a big plus for Nigel.
It's interesting. I mean, it was an interesting insight, that whole idea of saying that they broke Britain, the Tories broke Britain as much as anybody else. And those discussions, what was happening in shadow cabinet, and the idea that people were sort of thinking more about the party than the country. What either not wanting to admit that Britain was broken or saying, well, it is broken, but we can't say it is. Which is, I mean, it's interesting. Anyway, look, you can have your say by becoming a friend of GB News for free.
Yes, and if you do so, for a limited time, friends of GB News could win one of these. A GB News bumper sticker. Look, I've got one for you as well.
Oh, thank you.
50,000 up for grabs, so you could get one. Take a look.
Becoming a friend of GB News is free. It lets you have your say and be part of our shows every day on TV and radio. Plus, if you sign up by January 31st, you could win one of 50,000 limited edition GB News bumper stickers. To become a friend and for your chance to win, go to gbnews.com/bumper sticker now or scan the QR code on screen. 18 plus UK only. Full T&Cs at gbnews.com/terms of use.
Now let's get a check on the weather with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east, a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today, they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some mist, some fog in places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, it's 6:23. Maybe every politician watching should be tuning in for this, because it's time for the Daily Reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hi, I'm Chris Tufnell, a vicar in the Church of England. As children head towards their teenage years, they're often trying to find themselves, to establish their identity. And they often push the boundaries and resist their parents' authority. Now, the Bible tells us about Jesus the baby, it tells us about Jesus the man, but it tells us very little about Jesus the boy. It's fascinating then for Christians to get a short glimpse in chapter 2 of Luke's Gospel of the 12-year-old Jesus. And as we might have guessed, he was very different. On a family trip to Jerusalem, his parents lost him. And when they eventually found him in the temple, he said, "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" Even at that age, he knew who he was. But despite that knowledge of his status and authority, it says he went home with Mary and Joseph and was obedient to them. He knew who he was, and yet he chose to submit. It says his mother treasured all these things in her heart. I bet she did. She knew he was no normal boy. And Christians treasure these things too, because they're the beginning of the perfect life he would offer to the world. A life of perfect obedience and perfect love. Christians believe Jesus lived the life we should have lived, and then he died the death we should have died. Not to give us a standard to live up to, but to be the saviour we needed, whose obedience would cover our failures and whose death would bring us life.
Now, 25 minutes past 6. Still to come, the Tour de France is coming back to Britain. Paul's going to be here next to tell us more.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Right, time for the sport with Paul Coit at 6:29.
Yes. You wish it was 8:29.
I know, my eyesight's terrible. 6:29
Right.
morning.
Right.
We have the Tour de France.
Tour de France is coming back to Gran Bretagna. Do you see what I did there?
Yes, very good.
Thank you very much. You know how many years ago it was? Because it was brilliant when the Tour de France came to Britain before. And it went through London, and it was just amazing, and millions of people came out to see it.
10 years ago, is it?
It's 2014, so it's quite a long time ago. Well, it's a good guess, though. But so the Grand Départ that I'm struggling with of the men's race will start, because there's men's and the women's now. So the Tour de France men's race starts in Edinburgh, ends in Carlisle. This is the first leg. Then it'll be Keswick to Liverpool, and then we'll go Welshpool.
Keswick to Liverpool?
Yes.
That's a stretch.
Well, it's the Tour de France. This is not just like a little one lap on a rally chopper.
Well,
this is proper cycling. It's a long old way. Welshpool to Cardiff is the last bit, and then they'll head back to France. The women's race will go Leeds to Manchester then to Sheffield, and then they will be in London. But it's not until 2027. So it's a little way to wait yet. But the most accessible major sporting spectacle ever held in this country. Right. So I loved it. I hosted the thing in Trafalgar Square when they did it. Yeah. It was an amazing event. So anyway, it's going to happen again. So we're looking forward to that. Barcelona is this year, because the whole idea is obviously make it more accessible. And so I don't know how the French feel about it.
No, I don't.
I think they'd be pretty cheesed off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Love the idea. No.
But anyway, you can understand why they do that. Now, Spurs v West Ham. Some are calling it El Sacico, because, as in El Clasico, because of the managers, because Thomas Frank, who is not having a great time at Spurs at the moment, and then you've got Nuno Espirito Santo, who's having a disastrous time at West Ham. They're in the relegation area. So that's tomorrow, and Spurs have got so many injuries. Richarlison, Rodrigo Bentancur, Lucas Bergvall, Mohamed Kudus, James Maddison, Dejan Kulusevski. In fact, I'm playing centre-back tomorrow. This is how bad things are at Spurs, but they have made a signing, Conor Gallagher, who signed for Atletico Madrid. Let's hear from the Spurs manager, Thomas Frank.
It's the offensive we need to do better, and that's what we're working hard on. And I think all the small steps we're doing, with everything from signing Conor, signing John Hittinga as assistant coach, excellent signing, Rafi as a football relation officer, I think is the correct title. I'm looking at you, Anthony. But just a key member in the direction, how we want to do things. So everything is going forward. We just need to add a top performance and a win on Saturday.
Yep, it's all changed. Fabio Paratici, who is the sporting director, is now leaving to go to Fiorentina, so a new one coming in. But when I talk about Conor Gallagher, there is another member of the Gallagher family that has come back, and I love that. And Ellie, you will love this. Have a look at Conor Gallagher, and he's the youngest member. That's the reaction I wanted.
A little Chow Chow?
That's a Chow Chow. That's Freddie, the Chow Chow, who has his own Instagram account, and there he is wearing a Spurs shirt with Conor Gallagher. Isn't that sweet?
Listen, I've never heard of a Chow Chow.
It's a big, fluffy one that looks like a lion. You'd know it if you saw it in the street.
He's a cute little thing.
It looks like, I'll tell you who it looks like. Do you remember Lenny the lion? The ventriloquist thing? It looks a bit like Lenny the lion.
Yes.
I love a Chow Chow.
Yeah.
You don't see many of them.
You don't? There we are, Conor Gallagher.
It's beautiful.
But Conor Gallagher's that means he's
are.
got good taste. That's a good sign.
Freddie Gallagher. Now, the dart, right, should we try the darts thing again?
Oh, yes, the golden...
So we were struggling with bull and bull.
Bull and ball.
Right, because snooker in Saudi Arabia, when they had the snooker masters there, the golden ball, if they potted the golden ball after a 147 maximum break, then they would earn $1 million for the golden ball afterwards. So the darts equivalent is the golden bull. So the equivalent to, I guess, the 147 to the 147 snooker with darts is the 9-dart finish, which is the best you can get, 501. So if you get the 9-dart finish, then you go for the bullseye, and if you get the bullseye, which is the golden bull, so you get £100,000 for the 9-dart finish, another 100 grand for the golden bull.
Right.
What's this? This is one for people on the radio. I'll try and describe what's going on. What is this? So when we come to... What's that?
That's a bull.
That's a bull. By the way, it's a bovine with horns we're seeing on the TV.
Yes.
OK, let's watch this one. What's this?
A bull.
That's a bull. So with the bull, and what's going on here? So, where are they dancing?
At a ball.
At a ball.
At a ball.
So a ball or a ball? I just want to try and make things
Yeah,
clear.
very
So there we are. Right.
Very confusing.
Finally, have you got a question for me?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was just going to say on this,
Yes.
I actually know something about the golden ball because I watched Matchroom on Netflix, which is the Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn documentary.
Excellent.
And I thought, obviously
Yes.
I was forced into watching it, I thought I wouldn't like it
That's
because
more
it's
like
really
it.
sporty.
Yeah.
But it's really fascinating to see the Saudi sports scene and the
Oh,
money
yes.
they're pumping into it. But this all comes into it, Luke Littler and the
That's right,
snooker
the
and
golden ball.
the darts and everything.
I
yeah.
thought you were going to ask me where...
I have a question.
Yes, Stephen, what is your question?
My question is, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Where is the Olympic torch today?
Well,
Oh,
Stephen, it's
sorry,
funny
that
you
was-
should ask that because we...
I just went on a tangent, but yes.
That's okay, I'm
where is
good
the
for
Olympic
that.
torch today?
Well, let's have a look, shall we? Let's see where the Olympic flame is right now. This is the Certosa di Pavia, a monastery complex in Lombardy, in northern Italy, in the province of Pavia. Bill, I feel as if I'm having
Beautiful.
to speak in hushed tones.
It
Looks
is
stunning.
beautiful.
Built from 1396 to 1495. There's not many people around. I don't know whether there's monks actually in there anymore. I doubt that very much. But it's a beautiful complex. And there, the reverence,
It is a
walking
it is,
through
yes.
with the Olympic flame. February 2nd, it heads to Milan, the San Siro Stadium, and that's when the Winter Olympics will begin. Everywhere in Italy you could possibly think that flame's been or will be going over the next week or so.
How many days is it now to the Winter Olympics?
Oh, we are 2 weeks.
Wow.
We are
not
2
long.
weeks away.
Not long.
So you've still got more of these to go
I'd
until
like
we
that
get
to be
there.
my next home.
Well, you never know.
I'm just saying.
I don't think you'd be a monk, though, would you?
I wouldn't be a monk.
No.
All right, Paul, thank you very much indeed.
Now, at 6:35, time is ticking on for your chance to win £85,000 in our biggest cash giveaway to date.
2 weeks.
2 weeks to go.
2 weeks.
Just like the Winter Olympics.
I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks today. We'll find out in a second. Anyway, it's £85,000. It's a lovely amount of money. Here's how you could win it.
There's only 2 weeks left to ensure you're in the draw to win our biggest cash prize so far. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
Hi, I'm Jane from Manchester. I won £54,321 with the Great British Giveaway. It is real and it does happen to everyday people like myself. And that one text has just made my life 100% better.
But you have to hurry, as lines close on Friday the 30th of January. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News week commencing 9th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yeah, best of luck.
Now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A83 at Loch Gilphead, emergency roadworks mean restrictions in both directions near Loughnell Street, so allow extra time. In West Berkshire, the A34 northbound between the M4 and the A4185 is fully shut after an incident where a vehicle left the carriageway, with reopening expected around 10:10 this morning. And on the trains, cross-country services are disrupted between Sheffield and Wakefield Westgate and Doncaster, while Great Western Railway has road transport replacing trains between Liscard and Looe. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, still to come, President Trump has been given the Nobel Peace Prize. In a sort of way.
Roundabout way.
We'll tell you how next in the papers with Nigel and Claire.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co. with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News.
Britain's news channel.
News Channel.
I
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers this morning in the company of GB News' senior political commentator, Nigel Nelson, and former Conservative Special Advisor, Claire Pearson.
Oh, right.
Claire, is this the end of the Tories with the defection of Robert Jenrick to reform?
No. No, it really isn't. And I think that people tend to come to that conclusion because of a set of events that's happened and say, that's it, the Conservative Party are dead. The Conservative Party is more than just one individual. It is a group of people working together.
You could say it's your star player, though.
So that's your opinion that he was the star player?
Well,
I think there are enormous...
Well, you look at the...
No, but Aldwell, he was popular
No, the party is more than just one person. OK, so he was popular with some people. Wasn't popular enough to win the vote outright to be leader. That went to Kemi. So she now has a job of keeping everybody back in line.
Are we?
Do you know what? I've always been critical. I've absolutely been critical of Kemi. She has improved more than I thought she was going to. So I am quietly hopeful that that will continue and the rest of the party will get together and stop fighting each other.
Well, and to be fair, they've improved in the polls, Nigel. I mean, the Tories are now in a distant second place.
Yeah, I mean, the most recent poll shows that Reform is only 4 points ahead now of the Tory party. So they've actually come down a bit. The end of the year last year on 10 points ahead. So they've come down a bit. But it's only one poll. I mean, the polls will obviously change. I mean, what this seems to be from the Reform end is that we're seeing a pattern of all these Tories going across and they're sort of saying to the voters, look, we were rubbish, but give us a shot to be rubbish again under a different name.
No.
These are failed Tories.
Yeah, but the difference is it's about, and you know as well as anyone, it's about leadership in political parties. which is partly why the government's struggling so badly, because the leadership isn't there. Now, you can either like him or you can hate him, but Nigel Farage is a Thatcherite sort of leader. Well, you know, and he's doing things in a way that the Conservatives never would, and the people under him either have to follow in line or they'll be out.
But then you're talking about a Conservative Party 2.0, aren't you? You're just talking. Well, you just mentioned that Nigel is a sort of old-style Thatcherite.
Well, in that sense, yes. But here we go. Hatter's been in touch, who says the Tory Liberals were fed up with Jenrick being a truly proper Conservative. It's there for all to see. I mean, and I suppose that's the line.
And that's the problem, is everybody seems to want to say what is Conservative and what is not. I've been a member of the party for an incredibly long time. I have a set of views that are...
62 years.
How rude. That's
any opportunity... I know, you're younger than me.
But it's a set of values that I held, that the party also held and have been fighting on ever since.
Well, you think those values were upheld in the last government? Do you? With immigration through the roof and
you know,
taxes higher.
You know how critical I was of the Conservative government, and I felt the party had left me. I felt really stuck with a party that I didn't believe in, but I wasn't going to move over, because I do have the belief if you're going to fight for something, you need to stay with it. You need to be inside and you need to keep fighting for what it is you believe. You don't just jump ship to the next popular person that comes along.
What do you make of all these viewers that are getting in touch saying the only Tories that are left are the Wets?
Well, I don't believe that to be true. They've got some incredibly strong individuals left with some opinions that maybe I don't agree with, but they have the right to hold those. You think of Priti Patel, you've got Suella Braverman, you've got Katie Lamb, just to name three very strong individuals with very differing views. So the Conservative Party is broad. It does welcome that. So they're not leaving. You still have that. Well, and I don't agree that it's full of liberal Wets. I think that's ridiculous. Well, except, we are not like...
And your question earlier in the show was, should Robert Jenrick call a by-election? Absolutely.
Please.
Every MP who changes party should hold a by-election. Douglas Carswell did when he joined UKIP.
Well, he did. Yes, he did. But come on. I mean, how many over the years defections to Labour have we seen?
Very few. I mean, as opposed to all parties.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, no, you know, you weren't calling for by-elections then.
Well, I certainly was.
20 years ago.
I've always called for by-elections if an MP changes party. They were voted under a certain banner, and the voters have a right to decide if they want to continue with that person under a different banner.
I do agree, and it's interesting that when you look back through Twitter history, that Nigel Farage has actually called for that. So I think that if you are out there calling for people to have a by-election, he did it with Christian Wakeford, who went from the Conservative Party over to the Labour Party, called him the dishonourable member for Bury South at the time because he didn't call a by-election, then you have to have that view for everybody. And I do think that it is up to the electorate of that area who they want to be represented by. It may be that they say, Robert Jenrick is the man for us, and he continues. But they should have that right to choose.
Yeah. All right, you two, we better take a break.
Yeah, just check the time.
I'd forgotten that we're having a break in the middle of this, and then we're going to be back, aren't we?
You're back with more papers after the European forecast.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
The weather's looking unsettled across much of southern Europe as we go through this weekend. Heavy rain affecting parts of Portugal, around the outskirts of Spain as well. Some significant snow building up over the Pyrenees. Even further east in other parts of the Mediterranean, hefty showery downpours with the risk of some thunder. And worth bearing in mind, strong gusty winds are going to lead to some rough seas as well. Staying pretty unsettled for some places as we go into next week. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Allow.
Stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Have you ever heard of the Vegetable Orchestra?
Well, I have.
You might have seen King Charles.
Yeah, we saw the King.
Yeah, of course we didn't. He was playing his carrot. Well, this is the very orchestra that he played with. So should we have a listen?
I think we should.
That's what they can do, because believe it or not, they are playing their vegetables to make music. Take it away.
Well, that's a treat. That's a treat.
Extraordinary.
It's Becky, Patrick, Claire and Simon. Morning to you guys. Why is it... Oh, we'll just get a microphone to you. There you go. What is the desire? Where does this come from, Patrick?
Well, we like being silly. And we like
Fair
making
enough.
music, and we all like vegetables, so we put the three together, basically.
So for people listening on the radio, what vegetables are we playing this morning?
So I've got a butternut squash, Simon is playing a sweet potato, Claire has a carrot, and on the end, Becky is playing some utensils. So she's got a cheese grater, a bowl and a saucepan.
Very good. And how do you get the sound out of the vegetable? Are they hollowed through?
Yeah, so these two instruments here on the end are like brass instruments. So we've got mouthpieces made of carrot, which we just buzz against using our lips. And then we've got a carrot recorder, which is made completely like a proper recorder would be made.
And
just
it
out of
sounds
carrot.
like a recorder.
It is just a recorder.
Yes, we could hear it from in here. It's in the newsroom. It's
See, what I'm
amazing.
intrigued by is, were you up this morning making your instruments? How fresh are they?
Well, I was making it in the kitchen, just
Here?
out there, yeah. So you got a bit of a mess to clean up.
Oh, that's
sorry.
fine. That's fine. I'm quite good at cleaning up.
GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Nigel Nelson and Claire Pearce are still here. I mean, really, we should be looking through the paper. A lot of the papers are covering Jenrick,
Yes.
though, obviously. So I think we stay on this because, frankly, it is the most fascinating thing. And actually, what it also teed up, Nigel, away from all the sort of the drama around Jenrick and the impact that's going to have, Nigel very keen to say there's a very well-known Labour person.
Absolutely.
Now, he didn't say MP.
No.
But a very well-known Labour person heading over next week. We've got a timeline.
Yeah, and in fact, it was David Bull from Reform who actually revealed that for the first time on GB News during the week. We still don't know the identity of this person, unless, you know, it's sort of like Tony Blair wants to be Prime Minister again, but I think that's pretty unlikely. But it rather depends on the calibre of that Labour person, whoever it might be. And
it'd have to be somewhat. I mean, for the fact they've pushed it so much,
it's got to be a household. It's got to be a household name. But that's what Reform needs, is to get people from other parties so they look less like a kind of faux Tory party.
And I think it's quite interesting. It would have to be somebody who was a Brexit-supporting lefty who isn't a current sitting MP. I don't think it would be. So it is quite interesting. There's a whole bunch of names going around, and there's a couple that I can see would fit.
What are your
mould.
predictions, Claire?
Oh, I don't know if I should say, because probably that won't help anybody, will it? But I do think Kate Hoey, who I admire greatly, and I think that she would be a particularly big fish for Reform to catch.
Well, I mean, it's possible, yeah. I mean, she was a committed Brexiteer, so that's possible. I mean, there are obviously other names out there, but really what you need is a sitting MP. I mean, Kate is a peer, so it's slightly different there, but a sitting MP would be a really good sort of scalp to get.
Yeah, then you look at the current sitting MPs and you can't see anybody that would fit into supporting Brexit and be more on the right of the Labour Party. There just aren't those.
I tell you what, though, it's
social issues.
I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because it's Red Wall. You know, and it's the Red Wall and the Tories taking over the Red Wall. Well, actually, the Red Wall is prime reform territory.
Of course it is. And you will get Labour voters who will vote reform. They voted Labour last time, they might be disappointed in it now, and they might go to reform. Immigration, again, being a particular issue, and that's always been a big Red Wall issue.
All right, you two, it's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, well, wish we had longer with you.
Great to talk to you. We'll speak to you a little bit later on.
Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say. For now, let's get a check on the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts, it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east, a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today, they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some fog in places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M62 eastbound between Junction 26 and Junction 27, a broken-down vehicle is blocking one of 4 lanes, with traffic expected to ease after 7:15 this morning. In West Berkshire, the A34 northbound between the M4 and the A4 185 is shut in all lanes after a vehicle left the carriageway, and conditions should improve after 11 this morning. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway services to and from London Marylebone are disrupted, and Cross Country is reporting disruption between Sheffield and Wakefield Westgate and Doncaster. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's just 3 weeks left to grab your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make 2026 the year of yes. That's yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to making all of those dreams come true this year. Just make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good morning. Well, today it's all about the fallout as Robert Jenrick defects to Reform.
Well, he claims that the Conservatives broke Britain and uses the opportunity to attack his former colleagues.
The Conservative Party in Westminster isn't sorry. It doesn't get it. It hasn't changed. It won't change. It can't change.
But Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch hits back and says, good riddance.
Public are tired of all of this psychodrama, all of this personal ambition, everyone trying to, harm the other person. I'm sick of it, and I'm just done. My message to Nigel Farage is Robert Jenrick is not my problem, he's your problem.
A dramatic 24 hours in British politics. I've got everything you need to know about that shock defection to Reform UK.
Well, following that shock defection, we're asking this morning, should defectors face automatic by-elections?
Also today, the Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Marshall, the Venezuela opposition leader, we should remind you, has given Donald Trump her award during a meeting at the White House.
A lone British officer is sent to Greenland as NATO allies have begun deploying military personnel to the territory. It's after diplomatic efforts in Washington collapsed over President Trump's demands to take control of it.
There are new plans that means veterans will be able to recall for service until they're 65, under measures aimed at preparing Britain for war.
The deadline for submitting evidence to postpone local elections has now passed, with millions of people now seeing theirs delayed.
Schools are being urged to teach children how to use AI, despite warnings it could cause mass unemployment.
And sport this morning, well, it may be a year and a half away, but the Tour de France is coming back to Britain. Thomas Frank has even more injury worries now as Spurs get set to take on West Ham tomorrow. And after snooker's golden ball, it's time for darts' golden ball. Thank you.
A fair few showers around today and quite blustery, particularly towards the west and southwest. And then overnight, watch out for some fog and low cloud developing. I'll have the details coming up.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Were you tuned in to the telly yesterday afternoon? Or indeed, just stuck to the news last night, where if you came in from work, the whole Robert Jenrick press conference thing was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. I was hooked from about 11 o'clock in the morning when we first saw that video from Kemi Badenoch. Didn't see that coming from anywhere. Shocked us all in the newsroom. We weren't in the newsroom, but you can imagine the excitement here. And then we knew that this press conference was coming at 4:30. I was actually on a train at 4:30, so I was just frantically trying to join the Wi-Fi so I could listen to GB News Radio, so I could be across the press conference. It was fascinating. And then there was the delay, wasn't there? We had that drama of the delay.
Yes, we still don't know what happened there. Where was he?
Where was he? Apparently, one of the papers has written it up that you could see the back of Robert Jenrick's head, and it's a familiar haircut. You're like, it must be Robert Jenrick. But then Nigel Farage was saying, oh, let me welcome in Robert Jenrick. And he didn't appear. He didn't appear for about a minute.
Yeah, something went a little bit wrong there.
But he was in the corridor, so what was going on?
But and the fact that went on for an hour. Well, more than an hour. I left it after an hour, actually. But it was just
I kept losing it in my tube stations.
I mean,
and then rejoining.
It's one of those moments. I mean, we keep saying politics is like it's never been before at the moment, just because things are going so wrong, actually. But this is one of those moments that will go down in history because it is so significant. Is it the beginning of reform becoming a proper party, if you like, one that people will consider even more realistic as a potential government? Is it the end of the Conservatives? Are they going, as Nigel Farage was saying yesterday, are they going the way of the Liberals? I mean, because don't forget, 100 years ago, governments were either Liberals or Conservatives. Yeah. And then, of course, the Liberals all drifted off, Labour came in. So is it the start of that?
Yeah. Changing times we live in. Loads of you getting in touch today, so do keep those views coming in. JD says they're not failed Tories, they are politicians that have had enough. This is on the concern that potentially reform is becoming Tories 2.0.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. Well, that would be what Robert Jenrick would say, right?
Yeah. And Thomas says the Tories are just light blue Lib Dems, which is interesting as well. I mean, perception is changing. Anyway, let's get a roundup, should we, of what happened yesterday from Sophia Wensler. Morning, Sophia.
Good morning to you both. Yes, after weeks of speculation, the former Shadow Justice Secretary defected to Reform UK in spectacular fashion. It all began, of course, when the Tory party leader, Kemi Badenoch, posted this to her X account.
I was very sorry to be presented with clear, irrefutable evidence, not just that he was preparing to defect, but he was planning to do so in the most damaging way possible to the Conservative Party and his shadow cabinet colleagues. It is my responsibility to protect our party, and faced with that information, I took the only decision that any responsible leader could.
Well, seemingly out of nowhere, Kemi Badenoch sacked Robert Jenrick from her shadow cabinet over what she described as irrefutable evidence that he apparently left lying around. Well, the announcement from the Conservatives seemingly took Reform UK leader Nigel Farage off guard. He was in the middle of his own press conference in Scotland at the time. Here's what he had to say yesterday when he was quizzed on the matter.
So there's a lot of people seriously considering their future. As far as Mr Jenrick's concerned, of course I've talked to Robert Jenrick. Was I on the verge of signing a document with him? No. But have we had conversations? Yes.
But just as things seemed to calm down, Robert Jenrick took to X to say this: it's time for the truth. And after being the centre of attention all day, it was finally time for the former Shadow Justice Secretary to take to the stage himself, and he wasted no time in attacking his former party.
Two main parties are rotten. They are no longer fit for purpose. They both broke Britain, and neither can fix it. The Conservative Party in Westminster isn't sorry. It doesn't get it. It hasn't changed. It won't change. It can't change.
Meanwhile, the former Tory leader, Kemi Badenoch, seemed pleased to be rid of him. She said he's now Nigel Farage's problem and not hers. Elsewhere, the Prime Minister was waiting in the wings, and it didn't take long for him to condemn Reform UK and the Tories over everything that happened.
Well, my question is, why did it take so long? Jenrick's been making toxic comments to try and divide our country for months and months and months.
Well, what's next? The new Reform MP hasn't been given a specific role just yet, but the leader, Nigel Farage, says it's likely to be the next top job in the party. So, after 24 hours of a dramatic time in British politics, all eyes are on Reform UK to see what happens next.
It has been a dramatic 24 hours. Sophia Wensler, thank you for bringing us that update.
Let's talk to the news editor for the Press Association, Theo Usherwood, who's here. I mean, it is a time like no. I mean, we haven't had anything like this for a long time.
No, it's a complete realignment. And what, in terms of what happens next, can the Conservative Party survive? Will there be further defections? You know, Nigel Farage has set a deadline, and he wants the sort of everything to be settled by the local elections. And he's told Tory MPs that if you want to jump ship and join Reform, then you need to do so before the country goes to the polls for those local elections.
Didn't you find that timeline fascinating?
Yeah.
And he chose yesterday to set that timeline. Did you get a sense, and he did mention a number of times in that press conference yesterday, the upset from Zia Youssef at seeing the number of Tory MPs coming over? We're seeing from our viewers the upset and number of Tory MPs coming over. He set that timeline to appease their concerns.
Yeah, I think so. And it is, as we were discussing before, and I heard Nigel talk about this, there is a concern that if reform is just seen as Tory 2.0, then Nigel Farage, and he said it himself in his own attack lines against the Conservatives, that they had 14 years of mismanaging the country, that it's just seen as a continuation. The other problem, of course, is that Reform at the moment is Nigel Farage, and you cannot see, until this point, you could not see anybody within the party being able to take over from Nigel Farage. If Nigel Farage, for whatever reason, didn't want to be leader of Reform anymore, that would be the end of Reform. The problem, if you bring in somebody like Robert Jenrick, is that actually you've got somebody there who's been very clear about his own personal ambitions to lead the country and would quite happily step into the role of leader. We saw what previously happened when Rupert Lowe challenged Nigel Farage. It didn't end well. And
but that's an interesting point, because I mean, a lot of people were sort of talking about that yesterday, and it sounded like a leadership speech and all the rest of it. However, it doesn't take any nous to understand that if you go into Reform and you challenge the leadership, you're out, because Nigel will kick you out, and actually the membership don't like it. Generally. So he's not going to do that, is he, at this stage?
No, but there's a broader point that if Nigel Farage is Prime Minister, he's going to have more than 330, 340 MPs, probably a lot more than 340 MPs, and that they are all going to be in the House of Commons and they need to be kept occupied. And that we've seen, particularly if you're bringing in somebody like Danny Kruger, we've seen what he's done when it comes to the assisted dying legislation. The opposition, from very, very small, roots, he has turned that into a major campaign. If he is disgruntled with the leadership, and I'm not saying he necessarily is, but let's look ahead to a few years' time, and you have Tory MPs who know their way around Parliament, you could end up in a situation where Nigel Farage finds it very difficult to manage them and, of course, to command a majority in the House of Commons. You only have to look at what's happening with Keir Starmer. He's got a huge majority in the House of Commons, and he's finding life incredibly difficult right now.
All right, Theo. Thanks very much indeed.
Well, joining us now is Liberal Democrat education spokesperson Munira Wilson. Very good to see you this morning, Munira. Of course, we're talking about such dramatic 24 hours in British politics yesterday. Robert Jenrick defecting to Reform. What do you make of it all? It's being described as a realignment of British politics.
Oh, well, I think it was like an episode of The Traitors, really, yesterday morning. And I think what we see with this continued exodus of Conservatives to Reform, that there really are two sides of the same coin. And I think, really, Robert Jenrick's got a brass neck to sit there and do this big press conference saying how broken Britain is and how bad the Conservatives are, when he was part of that previous Conservative government holding multiple ministerial posts and responsible for some of the mess this country finds itself in.
But you've got to be careful, haven't you, when talking about defections? I mean, when you look at, even defections to the Lib Dems, you had Philip Lee in 2019, and Sarah Wollaston, 2 Conservative MPs. You've had last year Laura Ann Jones, a Conservative member of the Senedd. You had Jamie Green, a Scottish Conservative MSP. I mean, you know, you can't criticise people. I mean, they've all been part of the problem as well, haven't they, as far as the Lib Dems were concerned, but you've taken them on board.
I think what I found quite shocking yesterday about Jenrick's press conference, as I say, was that he was talking about the absolute chaos the Conservatives left behind, and he was a part of that problem. He was one of the architects of it. And yes, of course, we've had defections in the past. Those were over particular issues. They weren't necessarily former government ministers. This is a man who tried to lead the party that he has now belatedly realised was responsible for so many of the problems this country finds itself in. And, you know, good luck to him. I think I agree with Theo's analysis that there isn't much room in the Reform Party for too many egos. It'll be interesting to see how he and Nigel Farage get along.
Where does it leave the Lib Dems, though? Because you offered an alternative vote, didn't you, for those who were right of Labour but didn't want to bring themselves to vote for the Tories, would vote Lib Dem. Those left of the Tories who couldn't bring themselves to vote for Labour would vote Lib Dem. But now what we're seeing is Reform are offering that alternative away from the main parties. So does this render you obsolete?
Not at all. In fact, we are that sensible middle ground, the party that's offering a common sense approach on many issues. And we see One Nation Conservatives right across the country who are rejecting the politics of both Conservatives and Reform Party, who want a party that it takes a sensible approach, whether it's on the economy, whether it's on the environment, that's internationalist, that believes in the rule of law. That neither of those parties seem to espouse anymore. And actually, we see that in election results across the country. Both at the last election, we've got our largest ever presence in Parliament, but also since then in local elections last year and by-election after by-election across the country. And in fact, there have been a number of cases across the country where the Liberal Democrats have gone toe-to-toe with Reform and actually beat them on the ground, because people see where we are working hard in their communities. We are delivering for them on the issues that they care about, whether that's cost of living, whether that's social care, or whether that's cleaning up our rivers and seas. Whereas the Reform Party is offering an awful lot of division, and that's what people are rejecting. They're wanting hope and they want real action on the issues they care about.
But but immigration tops the list, doesn't it? You only have to look at the polls. I mean, in individual seats and individual council seats, yes, you might be getting that on local issues. I mean, the Lib Dems have always been known as a party that's very good on local issues. You're good campaigners on that front. But on these national issues, this is getting serious now. And I wonder if the Lib Dems are slightly out of touch. I mean, when it comes to the next general election, you can't have Ed Davey wandering about in his swimming shorts, can you?
Well, on national issues, we are talking about the things people care about, whether that's cost of living, how we bring down energy bills, whether that's the NHS, how we try and crack down on the scandal of corridor care and waiting lists and trying to fix social care. And, I mean, you mentioned immigration. Of course, people are concerned about the irregular migration in small boats across the Channel, but they're also concerned about who is going to deliver that health care and the social care that they need. And actually, without some of those economic migrants who come over to do really important jobs that keep our public services running and keep our restaurants and cafes and pubs going, it often is economic migrants. And so we've got to work out a sensible way to support that kind of migration and then stop some of that illegal migration that we see coming across the Channel.
You're here today to talk to us about the Lib Dems calling for a film-style age rating to be applied to social media platforms in order to protect children online. How would this work in theory, and how would it be enforced? Because the Prime Minister is now open, we understand, to imposing an Australia-style ban on social media for under-16s. Would that not be a simpler approach?
Well, look, I speak here as both a parent of young children as well as a politician, and we are all increasingly worried about the health impacts of exposure to social media, both mental health, physical health, the impact on sleep and concentration. But we want to see that children benefit from the good that social media can bring, whether that's staying connected with their family and friends or some of the educational benefits, but we want to tackle those deep harms. And what we want to offer is a common sense approach that works in the real world and in the digital age. And the film style classification approach, I think, would offer a trusted framework in a system that parents understand. But it would also set that default age rating for social media at 16. But for those platforms that might be even more harmful, when you look at film classifications, those go up to 18. So I think it would offer a solution that works in the real world, in the digital age, and also trust parents. On sites like Wikipedia, for example, we shouldn't be age gating sites like that, which could be used for education. And we don't want to crack down on the family messaging chat, but those really harmful social media sites that have addictive algorithms, harmful content, we need to give Ofcom the powers to really crack down on them.
Well, except, you go to the cinema and you are vaguely age checked, I mean, by how you look more than anything else, going into the cinema. If you're a youngster, who's going to age check people going online? I mean, it's not that straightforward, is it?
No, and in Australia, I mean, you talked about the Australia style ban. Australia are doing lots of work on how you can have a trusted age assurance or age verification type system. You would need to put something like that in place to age gate. But this is also about giving parents guidance. I, as a parent, want to know what is a suitable age for my child to go on different types of platforms, and to be able to have that conversation, actually just being able to say to my child, well, actually, this is not allowed until you're 16, or this isn't allowed until you're 13, is helpful, as well as the age gating and the technical solutions that go alongside that.
OK, Munira Wilson, we're out of time with you, I'm afraid, but thank you very much for joining us on GB News Breakfast. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just looking at your views on that, not going down too well, I've got to say. Alan said, which again struck me, does the Lib Dem not think illegal, but not irregular migration isn't a problem? I mean, that's where they're missing out, because they don't really want to talk about it. And say calling it irregular migration, again, doesn't help. It seems to be sort of missing the point a little bit, I think.
Well, anyway. do keep those views coming in, gbnews.com/yoursay. And
in terms of that social media thing, I get what she's saying. And in some respects, it does seem like a sensible approach. She called it a common sense approach. And I can see that on paper.
I don't know how you'd enforce it.
I don't know how you'd enforce it.
No.
I mean, this is the problem with everything internet-based. It's the enforcement that's the problem.
And you've got to remember as well, the children that are coming up now through the generations are just so tech-savvy.
Yeah.
They'd be able to make their way around these things. Anyway, let us know what you think, especially if you're a parent. Is that something that you would welcome?
Right, at 21 minutes past 7, let's have a look at the weather with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts, it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east, a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today, they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some mist, some fog in places. places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, you think it's 2 weeks to go, don't you, to win £85,000
2 weeks today
in tax-free cash, just like the Winter Olympics are starting 2 weeks today.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't want to miss out. It's a huge prize. Here are all of the details that you need.
There's only 2 weeks left to ensure you're in the draw to win our biggest cash prize so far. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
Hi, I'm Jane from Manchester. I won £54,321 with the Great British Giveaway, and the money went into my account on the Friday. Every stress just seemed to disappear.
But you have to hurry, as lines close on Friday the 30th of January. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News week commencing 9th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Best of luck to you on that one. Now, still to come, should defectors be forced to have a by-election if they move party? Well, it comes up every single time there's a high-profile defection, doesn't it? But we're going to debate it next.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Well, it's 7:28, and following the news that Robert Jenrick has defected to Reform, questions are being asked as to whether MPs who defect should face an immediate by-election.
Well, at the moment, when an MP switches parties during a parliament, a by-election is only called if the MP themselves chooses to resign their seat.
Well, every single time it happens, it's criticised by the parties, you know, who are losing MPs, or in this case, the government as well. But do we need to do it to improve trust in politics?
Yes, should defectors be forced to stand in by-elections and give constituents a say?
Let's talk to former Conservative MP Nick Fletcher and Labour commentator Simon Greaves. All right, Nick, let's start with you. What should happen?
Yes, there should be a by-election. It's as simple as that. Many people vote for the rosette rather than the individual, as I've learnt to my own, to my own campaigns. And yeah, it's disappointing when people do defect, but they should go back to the people that put them there. It's as simple as that.
Simon, should there be an automatic by-election?
Well, definitely not. And as Nick knows, the public vote for the individual, and last time I looked, it's Member of Parliament. And I don't think it's a healthy position to actually give political parties more power, because that's what you do if you force a by-election every time. And let's not forget that it's a bit old-fashioned, but I thought principle was important. And I thought it was a good idea for MPs to have a degree of independent thought instead of being a party robot. So there are many cases where people do vote for their own conscience.
Well, that's interesting, Nick, isn't it? I mean, the idea of, you know, a conviction politician, a principled politician, someone who is willing to challenge the party, to vote against the party, and if necessary, to leave the party.
I think you can challenge the party within. I think if the whip's removed and you're independent, you can still continue to do that. I think if the whip is removed for disciplinary procedures, I don't think that should necessarily mean a by-election. I mean, the law and recall of Parliament deals with things like that. I mean, as we saw when Lee Anderson left the Conservative Party, he said something the party didn't agree with. And they removed the whip from him and he was left homeless, and he did decide to go to Reform. And in all fairness, I think if that happens, then that's fair enough. But when you actually defect, when you actually make a personal choice to move parties, then I think it's only right and fair, and I think that is the principled thing to do, is to actually call a by-election. There were so many people who voted for me back in 2019, who didn't know Nick Fletcher. Lived in Doncaster all my life, but as many people realise, the amount of people they know is actually relatively small. They voted for a Conservative Party, Boris Johnson, and a promise we'd get Brexit done. So no, I mean, I think that is something there. So if you defect, then I think you should go to a by-election. So I think both Danny Kruger should have had a by-election, and obviously the whip was removed from Robert Jenrick yesterday, but it was only removed because they know he was going to defect. So I think there should be a by-election there too. And if they win, then that's fine. If they win under the new party, then that's fine. Let them carry on. But I think that is the only honourable thing to do.
Simon, last word to you.
Well, people have no time for political chances and they generally come to grief. But I've never heard anyone suggest that Churchill should have had a by-election when he changed political allegiance and crossed the floor. So I think the public will have their say eventually, but it will be a dangerous path to take.
All right, you two. Good to get your perspectives. Thank you very much indeed. So that's what I like. A sensible discussion with two people from different parties who disagree. Keep it polite.
Well, that's what it's all about on GB News. That's what we try and foster, don't we, here?
We do.
We want to hear from you if you are a constituent of Robert Jenrick's in Newark. Would you like to see a by-election?
Yeah.
Do let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll-say. Do you think it should be a general rule across the board? There's always criticism every single time it happens, isn't there?
Peter White, where's that gone? It's, if we do by-elections for defections, does that mean we have to have a general election every time a Prime Minister is removed? Well, a lot of people do call for it.
Yeah, and they say you don't have a mandate.
But then it costs an awful lot of money, doesn't it? And it actually costs quite a lot of money just to have a by-election. So I don't know. Do you just have to wait till the next general election?
Yeah, but it's a long wait, isn't it? It's 3.5 years, potentially. Anyway, keep those views coming in. gbnews.com/you'll-say.
Peter says, in this case, I do want a by-election as it would be a reform whitewash and strengthen them further.
Well, Newark is actually one of the safest Conservative seats, isn't it?
Yes, I don't know, how would that play then?
Yeah, it would be interesting. It would be interesting. Let us know what you think.
If you want to become a friend of GB News, to have your say, we'd love to hear from you, of course. You can do it absolutely for free, and you're in with a chance of winning one of 50,000 bumper stickers for your car. Have a look.
Becoming a friend of GB News is free. It lets you have your say and be part of our shows every day on TV and radio. Plus, if you sign up by January 31st, you could win one of 50,000 limited edition GB News bumper stickers. To become a friend and for your chance to win, go to gbnews.com/bumper sticker now or scan the QR code on screen. 18 plus, UK only. Full T&Cs at gbnews.com/terms of use.
Now, do stay with us still to come. We're going to be joined by Reform UK's Lee Anderson to hear more about what happened on the ground. Why was there that delay before the Reform press conference yesterday? We're going to get more on that next.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Durham, repairs on the A1M southbound between junction 61 and 60 have closed one lane. Blackburn with Darwin's M65 eastbound exit slip at junction 5 is closed for repairs. Derbyshire's M1 southbound between junction 31 and 29A has 3 lanes closed. Warwickshire's M6 northbound has restrictions between junction 1 and 2, affecting 2 lanes. Essex's M11 northbound is reduced to 1 lane from junction 8A to 10 due to drain work. Devon's M5 southbound at junction 31 has 1 lane shut for works. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
you're
the failure is...
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
It is 7:38. Where's that message that I just saw? It was a good one. I can't just find it, so I can't remember who, I can't give you the name. But someone's just messaged in and said about having by-elections, all the rest of it. They said, well, Lee Anderson defected from Labour to the Tories and then Tories to Reform UK. There were no by-elections, but he's always held his seat. Therefore, it is about people vote for the member and not the party necessarily, which is an interesting point. Should we put it to him? He is the Chief Whip for Reform UK, just to remind you, and he joins us now. Good to see you, Lee. I mean, what do you make of that? I mean, because there are always calls for by-elections when there's a big defection. It's a legitimate point to make, isn't it?
Yeah, there's argues for and against, guys, I suppose. But, we work in a parliamentary system in this country where when the electorate go to the ballot box and they vote for a person, and that person may or may not be in a political party. If they are in a political party, they then go to Parliament and represent that party and their constituents as maybe a Labour MP, a Conservative MP, or a Reform UK MP. But the previous point you made is there's a lot of truth in that. I've stood for 3 political parties in the same area 4 times and been elected each time.
Well, do you think then Robert Jenrick should follow your example and hold a by-election in Newark? We've had views saying, look, if he's confident, he says his constituents vote for him and they have faith in him, that it would be a Reform landslide and that in itself would strengthen you.
Well, he wouldn't be following my example, Ellie, because I never triggered a by-election. I just waited for the next election and got re-elected. And the last time I got re-elected in Ashfield at the general election in July 2024, my vote share went up. And I'm pretty confident that if Rob, if he just stand at the next general election in Newark, his vote share will go up. It costs over £200,000, I think it is, at a by-election. He will win. The people of Newark voted for Rob. And I'll just add this. There was only 2 MPs who was elected as Tory MPs in 2019 in the Nottinghamshire that was re-elected. I was re-elected for Reform UK, and Rob Jenrick, against all the odds, was re-elected as a Conservative MP in Newark. So there's your answer.
Yeah. Look, in terms of what we're seeing now, how do we balance it out? Because a lot of the questions yesterday in the press conference were about, Tories 2.0. And it's a fascinating question, because I know that obviously Nigel doesn't want to be branded as that. A lot of our viewers and listeners getting in touch this morning saying, well, Reform are the only true Tories, if you like, the only true Conservatives. So it's a difficult one to balance in terms of what your membership want and feel, isn't it?
Well, it's not difficult at all. I mean, the messages I'm getting in my inbox are all positive. And just maybe, guys, if the Conservatives had been Conservative in 2019, moving onwards, with the landslide victory for Boris, maybe I would be sat here talking to you today. Maybe if they'd reduced taxes, maybe if they'd reduced the size of the state, maybe if they reduce mass illegal migration and mass legal migration. And like I say, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
We know that Robert Jenrick harbours leadership ambitions, don't we? And we saw yesterday that he does lack loyalty. He used that press conference to criticise his former colleagues, some would say to attack them, naming Mel Stride and Priti Patel in particular. In that sense, can Reform UK and Nigel Farage trust him? Is he a team player?
If you're a politician and you haven't got an ambition for yourself, your country, your community and your family, then really you shouldn't be a politician. You need to go and do something else.
But does he want to be leader of Reform UK? I mean, lots of our viewers getting in touch saying these are two big personalities, two great media performers. Is there space in Reform UK for two very big fish in a small pond?
I would say we've got six big fish in a small pond now. We've got 6 MPs, all big characters, all big personalities, all want to do the right thing for their party. And look, we are a party that believes in healthy competition. Does Rob want to be a leader? No, he doesn't. He wants to be part of the team. He's going to put his shoulder to the wheel and work extremely hard for Reform UK, for Newark and for this country.
The interesting thing is, though, you've got a big challenge ahead. I mean, you're riding high in the polls. All that is good. Good for you, I should say, because we're obviously very impartial here, Lee. But the problem you've got, and I know it's being addressed, is that you need to have more structure. Now, you need to, in effect, have a shadow cabinet. You need to be putting forward people to say, if we win an election, this is who is going to be running the country. Is the Jenrick defection the beginning of that? Are we going to start seeing some changes in the coming weeks?
We've already started that, to be honest. And, you know, Nigel's been quite clear that when he does form a cabinet, they don't necessarily have to be serving MPs. I think that's a good thing. I think that's using intelligence. And we want the brightest and the very best from whatever field in this country to help us govern this country when we do win the election, whenever that may be. And Rob's got great experience. He held his hand up yesterday. I thought he was brutally honest in the press conference. Probably he said a lot more than when I defected. Well, I didn't defect when I moved to the Reform UK a couple of years ago. So fair play to Robert. It's a big move for him. Very brave. And he's a great asset. And I'll tell you this. Rob was the most popular Conservative MP in Conholme. And you know, he's come over to Reform. I got the backbench MP of the year with Conholme just a couple of years ago before the Tories, you know, kicked me out. So it tells you a lot about the membership and the grassroots Tory party as opposed to the parliamentary party. They are totally out of touch with their membership and their voters.
Lee, can I just ask you about something else? And this was a new poll out yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. 1 in 3 students, is university students, now say that Reform UK should be banned from speaking on campuses. They think that the party needs to be no-platformed on campuses up and down the country.
That just proves that 1 in 3 students have been radicalised in their universities and their colleges. They'll grow out of it one day, Ellie. They'll grow up one day. When they get a family and a mortgage and a bit of debt around their neck, they'll grow out of it. We all do.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this, Lee. You know nonsense.
No.
You know. Oh, talking of no nonsense stuff, though, what on earth happened at the press conference yesterday when Nigel introduced Robert Jenrick? And then he didn't appear. What was going on? We know we can get the truth out of you.
As I understood, the Reform UK, and I was there on the front row, it was packed to the rafters, guys. So it was coming up the steps to come into the conference room. There's that many people there, press in the way, a lot of steps as well, because he came through the back entrance. But you know what? If the press... If that's all the press has got to talk about, in being 30 seconds late into the room, I think we're on to a winner. And let me just finish on this, guys. Reform UK, they keep saying it's Tory light, it's Tory 2. I'll tell you what we are. We are a rehoming service for true British patriots. We rehome them, we give them a little bit of love, and then we put them back out there into the field to fight for this great country of ours.
Have they found their forever home, Lee?
It's their forever home.
All right, good to see you this morning.
All right, Lee.
Thanks
Thank you very much
indeed.
Thank you.
I mean, but that's, you know, whether you're a Reform supporter or not, it's I mean, someone like it's that straight talking, normal bloke you'd meet down the pub approach, isn't it? And that's what a lot of people feel is missing from politics now. Doesn't say I'm not saying you have to agree with his politics.
Yeah, but just no nonsense.
But it's that interest. It's an interesting approach.
They'll see the
it's
light.
Real because you do feel when you talk to a lot of MPs. Well, we probably talk to more MPs than you do. That they're spinning the line, they're towing the party line. You can't get a straight answer. So at least you do with that.
Yeah, interesting what he was just saying there, though, because the Telegraph sketch writer today is saying something very similar, saying that there seems to be this process now of public humiliation before then they are welcomed into reform. But first they have to atone for their sins and say quite how bad it was in the Tory party. Is that something that we're seeing? Let us know if you agree with that. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Right, still to come. There's a fish and chip shop bringing back the 1980s prices. Well, that sounds good. We'll tell you where in the papers next with Nigel and Claire.
But first, if you want some holiday sun, here is the forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
The weather's looking unsettled across much of southern Europe as we go through this weekend. Heavy rain affecting parts of Portugal, around the outskirts of Spain as well. Some significant snow building up over the Pyrenees. Even further east in other parts of the Mediterranean, hefty showery downpours with the risk of some thunder. And worth bearing in mind, strong gusty winds are going to lead to some rough seas as well. Staying pretty unsettled for some places as we go into next week. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Britain's newsroom. Weekday mornings from 9:30.
Drivers over the age of 70 will soon be required to take an eye test every 3 years. These are under new government proposals which they say will dramatically improve road safety.
Well, ministers are also considering reducing the drink driving limit to the level that it is set at in Scotland and requiring all passengers, rather than just drivers, to wear seatbelts.
Well, let's talk to GB News pensioner. He doesn't mind us calling him that. Alan Goatee. Alan, good morning to you and Happy New Year.
Same to you. Good morning.
Now, can we ask you a tender question, sensitive question? Have you reached the milestone of 70 already?
I have, plus.
Now, when did you last have an eye test with regarding to whether you're fit and capable to drive your car, Alan?
Just before Christmas.
Oh, did you? So you do that yourself? You self-refer yourself?
I do. And if the government's going to impose it every 3 years, I hope they're going to be paying for it.
Do you not get free eye tests over the age of 60 already? I thought that was the rule.
Only every couple of years.
Right, and what would it what would the test cost, Alan?
I don't know, because at the moment I've been getting the free ones,
right?
Because it's been at least 2 years before I get it done.
Okay, but what about the eye? I mean, were you concerned about your eye test, or did you just think because you're a certain age you should get your eyes tested every so often?
I've got a history of detached retinas, so of course I am concerned about my eyesight, but if an optician turned round to me and said, I don't think you can drive anymore, I would accept that, because I do not want to be a danger on the road.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back. We were going to go through the papers with Nigel Nelson and Claire
Why
Pearsall,
bother?
but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to react to Lee Anderson, who we just spoke to. And Claire, very interesting, on criticism that Reform UK has become Tory 2.0, which we keep hearing, don't we? Lee said that, no, Reform UK was a rehoming centre for true British patriots, and they welcome them in and they give them a bit of love, and then they put them back out there.
I mean,
what do you make of that?
They're not kittens. You know, you're not dealing with kittens that you have to rehome and put back out into the community. But I love the fact that Reform think of themselves as some kind of moral adjustment system for errant Tories, and they've seen the light of their ways. I wish them well with that. I do wish them well. I don't think it's going to continue.
It's a sort of rehoming centre for waifs and strays, though, isn't it?
You see, Robert Jenrick's not a waif and stray. I know you could say that about some people who've headed over, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure... Well, I rather think he is. I mean, I think...
Most popular Conservative politician in Conservative home, poll?
Yes, but Kemi played a blinder yesterday by sacking him really quickly. He was her greatest sort of rival for the leadership, so... And I'm sure he hadn't decided at that point whether to go to Reform or not. So she drove him into Reform.
But you could also say that she's lost her star player.
But she doesn't see him as a star player. She sees him as a rival, trying to undermine her.
Would the voters see him as a star player, though?
Well, it depends if he got the leadership, but now we'll never know because he's sort of he's closed that door behind him.
Claire?
I think he needs to pay more attention to the team he has around him because quite clearly this was all leaked out by somebody with in close proximity to his documents. Don't leave them lying around. I mean, that's got to be a really basic thing for a politician. Don't leave documents in sight of other people that you don't want them to have.
Yeah.
It's quite simple.
Well, yes, it is, but these things happen, don't they? They do happen. It's just, I'm intrigued. I mean, are you not tempted by Reform? Are you not feeling that Reform are more your home now, Claire, that they're reflecting what you have believed in all your life?
Do you want to switch that blazer to a light blue one?
Do you know what? No, I will stick with the Conservative Party. I think Reform will probably breathe a sigh of relief at that as well, that I'm not interested.
You go down with the ship?
We aren't going down, Stephen. You mustn't keep saying that.
No. I'm just reflecting what it shows in the polls.
Well, to be fair, the polls have been upticking, haven't they, in the last couple of weeks?
Very
They're
slightly.
increasing. Still an increase.
All right, you two, thank you. Sorry, it's so short, see you in an hour.
Here's the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts, it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east, a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today, they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some fog in places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy. With a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across our social media platforms. We're truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A74 at junction 14, northbound is partially blocked after a road incident. In Warwickshire, the M6 southbound between junction 2 and junction 1 has roadworks management with 2 lanes closed. West Berkshire's the A34 northbound between the M4 and the A4 185 is shut following a vehicle leaving the carriageway. On the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 6 and junction 5, a crash has 1 lane closed. And on the trains, Chiltern Railways has major disruption to and from London Marylebone, while Great Western Railway is using road transport between Liskeard and Looe. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's just 3 weeks left to grab your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make 2026 the year of yes. That's yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to making all of those dreams come true this year. Just make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Well, today it's all about the fallout as Robert Jenrick defects to Reform.
Well, he claims that the Conservatives broke Britain and uses the opportunity to attack his former colleagues.
The Conservative Party in Westminster isn't sorry, it doesn't get it, it hasn't changed, it won't change, it can't change.
Well, the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch hits back and says, good riddance.
Public are tired of all of this psychodrama, all of this personal ambition, everyone trying to, harm the other person. I'm sick of it, and I'm just done. My message to Nigel Farage is Robert Jenrick is not my problem, he's your problem.
Well, earlier we spoke to Chief Whip for Reform UK, Lee Anderson.
Or a rehoming service for true British patriots. We rehome them, we give them a little bit of love, and then we put them back out there into the field to fight for this great country of ours.
Also today, the Nobel Peace Prize winner from Venezuela, Maria Corina Marshall, gives President Trump her award during a meeting at the White House.
A lone British officer is sent to Greenland as NATO allies have begun deploying military personnel to the territory. It's as diplomatic efforts in Washington collapsed over President Trump's demands to take control of it.
There are new plans to make veterans be able to be recalled at least until they are 65 under measures aimed at preparing Britain for war.
The deadline for submitting evidence to postpone local elections has now passed, with millions of people now seeing their election delayed.
School staff are being urged to teach children how to use AI, despite warnings it could cause mass unemployment.
And in sport this morning, it's still maybe a year and a half away, but the Tour de France is coming back to Britain. Thomas Frank has even more injury worries as Spurs get ready to take on West Ham tomorrow. And after snooker's Golden Ball, it's time for darts' Golden Bull.
A fair few showers around today and quite blustery, particularly towards the west and southwest. And then overnight, watch out for some fog and low cloud developing. I'll have the details coming up.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
All right, let's kick straight off with that news from yesterday, because it overtook everything yesterday, and it really is the thing that we've just got to talk about. Oscar Reddrop is former political advisor to Boris Johnson, no less. Morning, Oscar.
Good morning.
What do you make of this? We've had Claire Pearsall on this morning. I mean, she's furious about this defection. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's lots of ways you can look at it. If you want to really Westminster zoom it in, I think Kemi made the best of a very, very, very difficult situation yesterday and really, really made the best of it. If you zoom out, I don't know how many regular people out there who don't obsess about politics day to day really particularly care, or it will cut through to them, you know, the clever way the Tories dealt with it. They'll just see a hugely influential Conservative and a live Conservative, not, you know, a former cabinet minister with, you know, grey hair, one who's in the game right now, leading from the front, join Reform. So Tories appear weaker, Reform appear stronger. I think that's what most people will read into what happened yesterday. What I would say, though, and this is quite a material thing moving forward, is that, and this is where there is a substantive impact in what Kemi did yesterday. And if 10, 11, 12 Tory MPs do not move across behind Rob to Reform, and that real sense of momentum, you know, the Tories really are being eaten from the outside, from the inside by Reform. If that doesn't happen, then yeah, Reform have got Rob Jenrick and the Tories have lost it, and that's kind of where it begins and ends. And her getting ahead of it yesterday, I think, makes those wanting to cross the floor to Reform from Tories less likely. And they were giving it I thought it was quite interesting. Yesterday at the press conference, they were giving it the real hard sell. Farage was saying the deadline is May the 7th. If anyone else wants to come. Rob Jenrick was saying, join me, join me, join me. Come on, please join me, please join me. And so I think they might be a bit nervous about that. And I would imagine amongst the Tory ranks, Tory MPs, I think it will solidify. And I actually think that loyalty to the Conservative Party movement will be emboldened, not weakened, actually, as a result of yesterday, is my view. I might be wrong.
Oscar, how would you be advising Kemi Badenoch this morning in terms of going forward?
Crack on. I mean, basically, since conference, just really quickly, that's why Rob's jumped across, because Kemi's doing rather well. Like, let's not get that. Let's not. Yes, he'll have more noble reasons, and I don't want to slight him. He's a very, very talented politician, clearly. But let's be honest about it. He auditioned and campaigned to be the leader of the Tory party not so long ago. They picked Kemi. That now looks like a pretty good decision, I'd say, by the members. But look, how I'd advise Kemi is keep doing what you were doing. I mean, she is the, I would say, and the bar was maybe quite low, but she is the fastest improving politician we have in the country at the moment. And I would just say, keep going, business as usual. And I think what voters, and you know, they have busy lives, they might not have really caught wind of properly the minutiae of what happened yesterday. But if they want to look back, you can see two characters of two individuals yesterday. You can see a leader undeterred, principled, confident in Kemi. And you can see one that, if we're being honest, was thinking just as much about himself as he was the country yesterday. And so I think the character of Kemi shone through yesterday, and she's got to keep that foot down and keep going.
You see, I don't know, Oscar. I sort of think if you take it away from people in Westminster to the wider country, there must be an awful lot of people in the country who are thinking, I don't know who I'd vote for at the next election. Traditional Conservative voters I'm talking about. Reform is perhaps more of what I think I believe in, but would I trust them? Maybe the Conservatives, they are improving slightly. If her performance is getting slightly better, maybe I'd stick with what I know. Maybe I'd stick with a party structure which is already there. Well, you start getting significant figures defecting. I would imagine that will take a significant chunk of people over to say, well, look, that part of that party structure is shifting to Reform. I'll trust them a bit more with my vote.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen, despite my best efforts as a pretty loyal Conservative, yesterday was not a good day for the Conservative Party. Let's not get that confused. It will be interesting to see. I mean, there is polling on it, and the common misconception is out there that the Tory 2.0 thing and how that will actually turn voters off. Actually, the reality is there's more Tory votes out there for Reform than there are Labour and obviously Green and Lib Dem. So I don't quite buy into that. And there is a concern. You do worry as a Conservative, is the Tory party being eaten alive? And is Nigel Farage that exact thing he always said? In fairness, and that's the thing, you have got to give it to someone like Nigel Farage. He's actually pretty upfront and honest about what he wants and needs from politics. And he said for a long time, I want to destroy the Tory party. And yesterday felt like a momentous day. It did. I'm not trying to underplay it. From Reform's perspective, they'll go, well, we got quite a few degrees closer to achieving that aim. However, the big thing for me in the voters' eyes when it comes to that election, and God, so much can change, is the economy. Of course, immigration, but the economy runs through it all. And is Rob Jenrick the answer to improving the economic credentials of Reform? I don't necessarily think so. And Rob was clearly really, really pumped up yesterday. And it was tricky because I was watching it and I really wanted to boo and hiss and, traitor and all that, good stuff. And I still did that, I think, quietly at least. But the speech itself, it was pretty good. I mean, he really identified all the ills of society in this country at the moment, and that is a loss.
Well, yeah, but that was the interesting thing, I think, particularly, was lifting the lid on what's going on in the shadow cabinet. And this either a reluctance to accept the role that they played in the downfall of the country, as he would put it, but also a refusal to fix the problem, really. Either saying, well, there isn't a problem to fix, or, well, we can't fix the problem, so let's just pretend there isn't one.
Yeah, I didn't like that bit. I didn't. I think I know.
Yeah, is it true?
Look, well, yes, it is. But it's more complicated than that. Yes, it is. It is true. He identified everything that's wrong with this country, and he's absolutely correct to do so. Have Labour and Conservatives been probably a bit too mealy-mouthed about doing that? Yes, he is right to do that. And I know people out there will go, I don't care about party loyalty that much. That's not for me. I'm not an MP. Why do I care? Just make my life better. But when you do go for colleagues in that way, that's not good. That's just not good. And actually, even in normal life, if you leave one company and go to another, you don't do that about your previous employers, and that's not good, actually. And I think,
well, Oscar, just before we let you go, I just want to ask you, based on things that Robert Jenrick has said, looking back on things he said about Nigel Farage in the past, and to be fair, Nigel Farage has said things about Robert Jenrick in the past. He's called him a fraud, for example. But back in September 2025, it's not even very long ago, Robert Jenrick said on Nigel Farage, I don't think Nigel is the bloke that you want running your kids' schools or running your local hospital to trust your savings, your pension or your small business to. He said in October 24, I don't think he's a serious politician. And I don't think he's got the answers to the problems that our country is facing. Did you believe him yesterday that he appears to have had this sudden clarity and now he thinks that Nigel Farage is the next Prime Minister in this country?
I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, no, that didn't ring particularly true. And I think actually just going back to my previous point, him really going for those Conservatives, I imagine is something that was probably signed off and very much urged by Reform. You know, like if you're going to do this, Rob, now your bargaining chips are weaker because Kemi took the rug from under you. We're going to need you to twist that knife in your speech today. Look, I mean, Rob is not. The game's the game, I think, is how they'll see it. And they'll go, look, this worked. And there would have been, I think, Farage just very quickly, he would have flirted with the idea of leaving Rob out in the cold. The ultimate power move. But actually probably on the basis thought, you know what, naff it, we'll have you. Because it does weaken the Tories.
All right, got to leave it there, Oscar. Thanks very much indeed. Well, Robert Jenrick was, up until yesterday, the Shadow Justice Secretary. There is a new one now, and that is Nick Timothy. And he joins us now. Good morning to you. Congratulations on the promotion. Are you the right man to give Kemi Badenoch strong and stable leadership, do you think?
Well, Kemi's put her trust in me, and that's a great honour. Anybody who knows what I stand for knows I'm tough on crime, tough on immigration, and serious about how we end the problem of illegal immigration, and those challenges are fundamental to this job. So I'm looking forward to getting to grips with the very serious policy work that we'll need to do.
Nick, it wasn't a good day for the Tory party yesterday, was it? Many people saying you lost your star player. And actually, one of the most telling things in that press conference yesterday was the anecdote told by Robert Jenrick, an insight, if you like, into the shadow cabinet when a question was asked about, is Britain broken? And he says he was the only one who could acknowledge the fact that this country is broken. Is that a problem that is facing the Tory party, that you can't admit to the state that this country is in?
No, I don't recognise that characterisation of the Conservative Party at all. If you look at the challenges that the country faces, I think our economic model has run out of road. I think we need drastic change to make sure that we get back our lost sense of shared identity. We need to be really radical in reforming the state so we can actually get things done. The Conservative Party is very serious about tackling all of those things. And actually, one of the things about yesterday that I think was really important was the contrast between Kemi's leadership as somebody who acted decisively and takes very seriously those challenges, and the sense of backbiting and backstabbing and the lack of seriousness that we see in too many politicians. We saw it actually, to be fair, towards the end of our time in government before the 2024 general election. We see it every day with this Labour government, constant speculation about the future of the Prime Minister, constant U-turns, constant clamouring by members of the Cabinet for the top job. And we see it in the Reform Party as well. But what Kemi showed was clarity of thought, strength of character, and that's the kind of leadership that the country needs.
Well, yeah, no backbiting. Well, yeah, OK, that'd work as an argument, Nick, if she hadn't then come out later in the day and said, oh, well, you know, what would I say to Nigel Farage? Well, Rob's your problem now, not mine. I mean, that's backbiting, actually. That wasn't a very classy line.
Look, I think, Kemi was asked lots of questions about the personalities of politics, and she dealt with it quickly and she sought to move on. I'm not interested in talking about who's up and who's down and who's just said this about this person and who said that back. The Conservative Party needs to be very serious about the challenges that face the country because they are very significant, and that is what is happening under Kemi's leadership. And I think we've seen over the last several months a real new sense of connection between the party and the country. I see it in my own constituency with people coming to me to talk about how they feel about the political parties. Something has changed in the last several months where Kemi's leadership means that we are now capable of reconnecting with the public. But there's lots of work to be done. We can't act as though we're complacent about the fact that we lost the last election. We lost it very heavily. Political parties only lose elections when people do feel they've been let down. We need to be very frank about that with ourselves. We need to be able to look voters in the eye and say, we understand why you rejected us, but we've listened and we're learning and we're doing the hard work, which means that come the next election, we are going to be the people who offer you the very serious prospectus that means that we can turn this country around.
But I wonder if
you're the very serious challenges that
I wonder if
Britain
you're
faces.
reading the room. I wonder if you're reading the room, because what you said, and frankly the way you said it, may have washed 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Does it wash now? Because you talked about bringing in radical changes. Well, the only party that is talking actually about truly radical changes and is doing it in a way which is strong and dynamic and straight talking and appealing to the British people, whether you like it or not, is Reform UK.
Well, you almost sound like an activist for them there, Steve.
No,
but
I'm not.
I haven't seen.
Let me clarify, Nick. Let me clarify. I'm certainly not an activist for any political party, but I'm talking about. I get out and about and I meet real people, and they're excited by politics when it comes to the sort of straight-talking approach, and that is what you're missing at the moment.
What I was saying was there is a world of difference between talking about radical change and then doing the very serious, hard yards that mean that you're in a position to be able to deliver that change. And I will speak for the Conservative Party and not for other political parties, but the Conservative Party is incredibly serious about the work that we are going to do in the months and years ahead until we get to the next election, so that we are going to be in a position not just to promise things with rhetoric, not to make empty noises, empty slogans, but to have the really serious plans that the country needs so that we have a new economic model, so that we can strengthen our borders again, so that we can restore our lost sense of shared identity, and we can reform the state so that we can get things done again. Those are all the serious problems that the country faces. We've just had a government elected that talked a good game but had no serious plan to get anything done. That's the job for us over the next couple of years, and when we've done that job and we're ready to put the full prospectus to the country, I am confident that people will listen. And I spend a lot of time talking to people in my constituency and elsewhere. I'm very visible and available in Suffolk, but I also travel to different parts of the country, and it is undoubtedly the case, this is backed up by polling evidence as well, that over the last several months the country has started to listen to Kemi Badenoch and to the Conservative Party again. It understandably didn't really want to listen to us after the last election, but I think we've shown contrition. I'm certainly prepared to look people in the eye and say we let the country down, but that's the first step to then being able to offer the country what it needs in the future, because only by doing that will people start to listen to us again, but only by doing that can we truly understand what the country needs.
Nick, Timothy, we're out of time with you, I'm afraid, but thank you very much for joining us this morning on GB News Breakfast.
Lots of you getting
I can imagine there's lots of viewers coming in on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Tony says he needs to wake up and smell the coffee. You see, again, this was the sort of point I was making. Joe's been in touch and said, no disrespect to Mr Timothy, who's just got his promotion and all the rest of it. I mean, I wouldn't want to do his job, would you? But he says he's not a good speaker, he's not connecting or convincing. And that's actually important. I think this is more important in British politics than ever before, because people are wising up to it.
Paul says it feels like this guy and the Conservatives have really got nothing to say.
Yeah.
False promises from Dave.
Yeah, I mean, and there was an interesting one about your question about... oh, here we go. This is from Christine. Nick Timothy could have chosen to answer the broken Britain question in a number of different ways, but instead he chose denial. Nothing has changed in his party. I mean, if you're going to be a politician in 2026, you know, and a successful political party, you've got to be able to read the room and see what the British people want. There's not one answer to what the British people want, because we all vote for different things, and that's, you know, that's our democracy. I just wonder if they are getting it.
Yeah, and if they're a change party, I mean, we ran out of time there with Nick Timothy, but I was going to ask him, I mean, Kemi Badenoch talking about wanting the end of the psychodrama. I think a lot of British people want to see an end to the psychodrama. But then we're hearing from Tory, senior Tories revealing that Kemi Badenoch was having Robert Jenrick monitored for months. What does that mean exactly? It's very cloak and dagger stuff, isn't it? And then we hear about a Tory mole who took that information yesterday to Kemi Badenoch about Robert Jenrick's defection.
It's politics, isn't it, though? Just very quickly, because I'm being yelled at by my producer, but Anne says, I'm sorry, Stephen, but you do seem to be a champion for reform. No. I mean, honestly, I mean, our job is to put an opposite view to whoever is on, really, and sometimes that means sort of speaking on behalf of reform in this case. Otherwise, it's the government or the Conservative Party. We don't hold a view here, but you do have to be challenging, and sometimes you've got to be a little bit robust. But anyway, thanks for all your thoughts this morning.
Check us one of those.
Oh.
One of our lovely bumper stickers.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for getting in touch with us this morning. You can also get in touch by becoming a friend of GB News. You can do so for free, and if you do, you could be in with a chance of winning one of these. We have 50,000 bumper stickers to give away, just like this one. Let's take a look.
Becoming a friend of GB News is free. It lets you have your say and be part of our shows every day on TV and radio. Plus, if you sign up by January 31st, you could win one of 50,000 limited edition GB News bumper stickers. To become a friend and for your chance to win, go to gbnews.com/bumper sticker now or scan the QR code on screen. 18 plus, UK only. Full T&Cs at gbnews.com/terms of use.
Now let's have a look at the weather with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east, a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today, they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some mist, some fog in places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
No.
Right. Oh, no, go on then.
Oh, no, you take it away.
It's 2 weeks today.
Yes.
2 weeks today until your £85,000 tax-free cash giveaway chance disappears. So, you know, if you want to be in with a chance, you better enter pretty quickly. Here's how.
There's only 2 weeks left to ensure you're in the draw to win our biggest cash prize so far. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
Hi, I'm Jane from Manchester and I won £54,321 with the Great British Giveaway. It is real and it does happen to everyday people like myself, and that one text has just made my life 100% better.
But you have to hurry, as lines close on Friday the 30th of January. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News week commencing 9th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. No, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Princess of Wales, as you know, celebrated her 44th birthday yesterday.
Yes, her birthday fell just days before the first anniversary of her announcement at the start of 2025 that she was in remission now from cancer.
Well, in the final instalment of Kensington Palace's quarterly Mother Nature series, Princess Catherine said the cold season has a way of bringing stillness and patience.
In the coldest, darkest season, winter has a way of bringing us stillness, patience, and quiet consideration, where the stream slows just enough for us to see our own reflection.
Well, we're all thrilled, of course, that she's feeling well and that feels that, you know, now she can look forward. And she has talked a lot about nature helping her do that. But then you could argue she's got the time and the luxury of being able to do that. A lot of other people haven't. So what did you think of the video? Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams joins us now. Richard, what did you think of that video?
I thought it was charming. It's one of a series, so you've got all the seasons. I mean, this is the way she is emphasising, firstly, there, as you mentioned, happily in remission. She's talking about the importance, which has been very considerable to her, of communing with nature, and also this links with her feeling that the outdoors is so important. And of course, as we know, she's doing so much work on the early years of childhood.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 8:30 on the nose. Now, unions representing teachers, school leaders and support staff are calling for them to be involved at every stage of artificial intelligence adoption in education. So basically learn it in school.
Yeah. Well, it follows the survey suggesting that fewer than 2 in 5 parents have been actively consulted on the use of AI in their child's education.
The announcement comes as the Mayor of London, Sir Sadiq Khan, warned of mass unemployment thanks to artificial intelligence, which he says threatens to bring in an era of mass unemployment.
Let's talk to the head teacher at LVS Ascot School, Christine Cunliffe, who joins us now. Good to see you this morning. What are we to make of this? I mean, I don't know if it's wise to try and ignore the potential problem of AI, or if the best way to get ahead of the issue is to make sure kids know what's going on.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. Children are across it already. Like anything with technology, they tend to be ahead of the adults all the time, and they're using it. So the more we encourage children and teach them the ethical, moral use of AI and how to use it in our everyday lives and also for our futures is crucial, because there is some concern and fear over what the future of the workforce looks like. And therefore, we have to adapt as humans and grow those human skills to be able to walk alongside machines.
Christine, do we need to make it a part of the curriculum? I remember being in primary school and we had a computer suite, an IT suite set up in our primary school. We used to be taken up there and taught how to use the PC computer, taught how to type, things like that. Do you think we need to see AI lessons for the children of today?
Yeah, we do, but it should be integrated into the curriculum. So as you say, we had the ICT suite. You don't see those anymore because IT is actually integrated into our everyday lives. So AI is the same, and children will access it. So there's a couple of strands here. So the first one is the safeguarding, because we've seen recently, well, in the last couple of days, the issues that we see with AI and the safeguarding issues. So there's that safety that we have to teach children. Then we have to integrate it into lessons with a framework to say when it's appropriate to use it, how to use it, and how we will assess it. And even universities are talking about this. We're talking with universities as well about that transition and what the future looks like as well. It shouldn't be standalone. Having, for example, an AI A-level is ridiculous. It's part of our lives, it's part of our education, and it should be seamless.
In that sense, I mean this with no disrespect at all, the teacher's the best people to do it, because, as you say, I mean, it's often the younger you are, the more you're across it.
Yeah, exactly. But come on, then, as oldies need to get across it as well. I use it every day. I think it's amazing. And we can't ignore it. So we need the training. We need the infrastructure as well, because a lot of schools won't have the infrastructure to do this. We saw that in COVID when there were so many children that didn't have access to a device or a stable internet connection. So we've got to look at infrastructure. We've got to look at training. We've got to look at being brave as well. You know, we had to be brave a couple of times. Look at COVID. We went online. We did blended learning, things like that. We lost some staff because of it, because they didn't want to do it. Well, unfortunately, that's the way of the world. You know, you either want to shape up and carry on or get out the profession, basically.
OK, Christine, really good to get your thoughts on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she's got a sort of no-nonsense approach to that, hasn't she?
She's our favourite head teacher.
I think she's probably right.
Anyway. That's what we think.
Now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, get your skates on because it's 8:34. Here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M80 northbound between Junction 5 and Junction 6, debris is partially blocking the carriageway. On the M4 eastbound at Junction 33 by Capel Lanilturn, heavy congestion is building. In Warwickshire, the M6 southbound between Junction 2 and Junction 1 has lane closures for road management, causing long delays. In West Berkshire, the A34 northbound between the M4 and the A4185 is closed after a vehicle left the carriageway. And on the trains, Chiltern Railways has major disruption to and from London Marylebone, and Great Western Railway has road transport replacing trains between Liskeard and Loo. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's sports time. Paul Coytis here with us. Morning.
Morning. Well, we've got the Tour de France. You like the little bit of Tour de France, don't you?
Like
We always do that.
Tour de France.
You know what? I was going to try and get Phil Liggett on, our friend Phil Liggett, the voice of cycling, and he said, "Oh, I'm in Australia at the moment. I'm really under the cosh." I said, "Oh, we have a lovely time. Don't worry, you're having a great time." And he went, "Actually, I've just lost my house in a flood." So we wish Phil the best. I mean, yeah.
Didn't know there were floods in Australia.
I had no idea either. And I was like, but in the weather, he said, well, it's actually been disastrous there. But anyway, the Tour de France, the Grand Départ of the men's race will be, and now this is not until 2027.
Right.
So it's going to be in Barcelona this year because they move it around. We said earlier, didn't we? I don't know how the French feel about it. They must be pretty cheesed off.
Can't imagine they'd love it.
Fromage off.
They're fromaged off. So but anyway, it's great because when it was in Britain 2014, it was terrific. So this one is going to start in Edinburgh, end in Carlisle for stage 1, then Keswick to Liverpool, then Welshpool to Cardiff, and then it will go over to France, and then the women's races, Leeds to Manchester, Manchester to Sheffield, and then we'll be in London, and I think it's going to be terrific. And they say that there will be millions of people on the street. But did you see it? Have you seen the peloton go past?
Yeah.
You know, have you seen it, Ellie?
Yeah.
No, but
it's
I can imagine
terrifying.
It is literally, you wait, and then in the back, you hear the and all the. That was the hooting there, and all the vehicles that come along, and then it's all the excitement. Here it comes, and then it's literally, boom, and then it's gone. But it's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
It's quick, but it is an amazing experience. Darts.
Yes, go on.
Snooker, in Saudi Arabia, when they had the competition there, they had the golden ball for a maximum 147, which is the maximum break. And if they put a golden ball, an extra ball that's put at the end, then they could earn £1 million or $1 million. They've done the darts equivalent. There's the golden ball. The darts equivalent in Saudi Arabia at the Darts Masters this month is the golden ball.
Oh, they have painted it gold as well. Very
It's
good.
taken us about 2 hours to do that.
Oh, has it? Oh, you've done that?
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
No,
it's not bad. It's an artist's impression. So the players, they'll get £100,000 if they do manage to get a 9-dart finish, and then 1 dart at the golden ball will be another 100,000 if they manage to do that.
Nice.
So that's not bad going. Oh, have you heard about Gary Neville?
No, what's going on?
Well, Gary Neville during Arsenal's game against Liverpool last week, we talked about this, has had 576 complaints to Ofcom over something that he said. Now, it was prompted by Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli, who pushed Conor Bradley, who was injured. Do you remember? And he pushed him off the pitch. Yeah. So Neville had said, you can't do that, which is fair. This is so poor. Bradley's been stretchered off. I'm fuming with Martinelli, to be honest. So far, sounds all right. Yeah. I don't know how Liverpool players didn't go over and whack him, to be honest with you, and take a red card. So that... Is that bad? 576 people have complained. We actually have a picture of 575 of them. There they are. So there we are. What can I tell you?
I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's bad either. I don't think it's that bad either.
To be fair. What else have we got?
Little Australian Open?
Yeah, go on.
Roger Federer? Roger Federer, when I say Australian Open, he's playing in an exhibition late tonight or tomorrow, as it would be in Australia. Let's see him in action. He's playing against Andre Agassi, Patrick Rafter, Leighton Hewitt. Now, just look at the crowd. So this is Roger Federer, and this is just a practice. Look at the thousands of people that have just come along just to watch him practicing.
Star power.
Because he's got star power. And everybody still wants to be him. Still looks great, still plays terrific. He's a true ambassador of the sport.
It's like you at Spurs.
It's pretty similar. Yeah, it is. It's pretty similar. There we are. Look at that.
To see you, they're not bothered about the match.
But look at all the people around there. That's just warming up. I mean, really.
It's not bad, is it?
So anyway, the Australian Open gets underway on Sunday.
Birthdays? Got
yes,
birthdays?
Let's go. OK, I've got some birthdays, sporting birthdays for you. Right, first one is snooker legend. So we're going to go back to 1980. He won the World Championship in 1980. Cliff Thorburn. Have we got Cliff Thorburn? If we haven't, I'll draw a fake moustache on myself and wear a bow tie and do this. So Cliff Thorburn.
If I can picture him, I'm going to say 73.
73 for Cliff Thorburn. So 1980, he won the World Championship. Snooker.
78.
78 is the right answer. Where did that come from?
Good guess. Lucky guess.
I'm getting people that are texting me and calling me saying, is Ellie cheating? I just want to say there's no cheating because...
No, I can see a laptop.
I'll call my friend a cheat, OK?
Lucky guess. And
you're not cheating, eh?
Look at my laptop,
OK, fine. Right, Neil Back, World Cup winner from 2003, flanker.
Ooh,
Ellie says he's not that bad.
52.
52 for Neil Back, so 2003.
55.
57 is the answer.
Close.
Couple of showbiz ones to end with. How about Kate Moss?
It's Ms. Kate Moss.
The legendary Kate Moss.
She's 54 today.
Oh, I was going to say 54.
Don't say 54, but it is close.
53.
52! Final one, legendary Sade.
Oh,
Smooth
Sade.
Operator.
Smooth Operator.
John is King. Sing along, all together one at a time.
I think you've picked it because it's a big birthday. I'm going to say 60.
60 for Sade.
I was going to say 70, the big 7-0.
60, the thought of Sade at 70, the thought of Sade at 60, 67. How can Sade be 67?
I was close enough.
Sade is 67.
Yeah, she still looks that good, though.
Ellie, you won. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You won the Golden Bull.
Woo.
Bull or ball? No, let's not go there.
Ball.
Have a lovely weekend.
Enjoy weekend.
Right, still to come. Can you be too smart to ruin your chances of love? I don't know why we're asking Nigel and Claire about that, but we will do as they go through the papers.
But first, if you research some holiday sun, here's the forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
The weather's looking unsettled across much of southern Europe as we go through this weekend. Heavy rain affecting parts of Portugal, around the outskirts of Spain as well. Some significant snow building up over the Pyrenees. Even further east in other parts of the Mediterranean, hefty showery downpours with the risk of some thunder. And worth bearing in mind, strong gusty winds are going to lead to some rough seas as well. Staying pretty unsettled for some places as we go into next week. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good.
because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
So it comes down to money, doesn't it? Always follow the money, follow the money. And, you know, big tech is a big business. It is a very, very powerful industry. And it's pulled a blinder because it has convinced government and schools, teaching unions, you know, the individual local authorities that are responsible for procurement. It has convinced everyone that tech is either not harmful in the case perhaps of social media and smartphones, or actually beneficial. And it's a lie. I mean, it's a complete lie. The evidence is there. It is harmful.
There are plenty of examples in society where there are things that we know that are harmful to children, or that they may come with risks and benefits associated with them. Let's say contact sports, for example. Let's say giving them junk food. But we still give parents the right to make that decision because we believe in the rights of parental responsibility over state intervention in those areas. What makes those areas different to the risks and benefits associated with digital use for kids?
Yeah, I mean, look, absolutely. And I, as you know, as Rennie knows, I'm about as libertarian as one gets, certainly for adults. I do think when you know, the intersection of individual choice and freedom with child welfare and child safety is rather different. And I think there are many examples of areas where a problem is too big for individual parents to solve. I mean, you've mentioned contact sports, and I think that's a really good example because, of course, there we all have the choice as parents whether our children should or shouldn't engage in contact sports. But phones are rather different. I mean, certainly smartphones, and I think that, you know, you do have a distinction with phones versus edtech. It is literally mandated by schools, and there is no legal right for parents to opt out. So there is no choice.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
We're back going through the papers with Nigel Nelson and Claire Pearsall. There's one story in town this morning, that is the defection of Robert Jenrick. Nigel, is this the realignment of British politics?
No, I don't think it is. It's already been realigned. So we used to have two main parties, and now we've got four. So, and maybe the Greens, as they seem to be increasing in the polls, will end up with 5. So what you've got is a much greater voter choice and a bit more fragmentation, which makes calling elections much more difficult in the future than it was in the past.
I know, Claire, you're a bit miffed about what's happened, but at least as we had on the show, we did the new Shadow Justice Secretary on, he's in, raring to go.
And I'm sure that he'll do an exceptionally good job. He's a very talented individual and he'll work incredibly hard. I think the Conservative Party just needs to come up with some policies.
It's all about trust and transparency, isn't it, Claire?
Well, it always is in politics. You know that, Stephen. And I think that the Conservative Party going forward...
Oh, you're winding her up.
I am winding her up today. She's toeing the party line.
Yeah. Do you know what? There has to be a first time for everything, because I've spent the last 4 years not toeing the line very well. But I do think that under Kemi's leadership, it has brought it back to a more rounded team of people.
He couldn't answer the question about Britain being broken.
Well, I think that is a matter of opinion, isn't it? Because there are parts of the country, that are broken.
And always have been. I mean,
this is not a new phenomenon.
No,
it really
that's
isn't.
right.
Whenever you look back over certain decades, you will go, well, that was broken and that didn't work. And it doesn't matter who's in government. Decisions in the country will always be popular or unpopular, depending on what they are, and things will or won't work.
But it feels a bit more fundamental now, and that's down to no, because that's down to the seismic shift, actually, in our population dynamic.
Well, you're talking about immigration now. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the country is broken. I think that that's a narrative that's been rolled out over the years, and it's come back again, and that's the sort of reform line. Britain is broken. We can now come and mend it. No evidence at all from their policies they actually can mend it. I don't think Britain is broken. You just have to walk down the street and know that things broadly are working. There are things that are wrong with it, and they need putting right, but the idea that we're living in some kind of declining nation, I think, is actually a fallacy.
Do you think it's a fallacy, Claire? When you walk down the street, do you get a sense that things are working as they should? I think a lot of people would disagree with that.
I know that,
and I think
but always have.
And
always have.
It depends where you are as to what services you use and how well they're functioning at the time.
Yeah, if you're in Tunbridge Wells and you want your water up, you're thinking that things aren't working at the moment.
Absolutely, and power cuts and things like that. And there are hospitals where the wait is enormous for operations, and in other places, actually, people are getting very good treatment. So it just depends on that sort of snapshot. But do I think that the railways work well? No, I don't, but they've not worked well for at least 30 years. So it's not a new problem. The cost of living is always an issue. It is always going to be very expensive to live. That seems to have got worse, but I wouldn't say it is actually broken. I think that there are things that could be done better. But any political party that says it has the solutions to absolutely everything, that's just for the birds, I'm afraid, because you aren't going to sort that out. You're never going to do everything that everybody wants at one time.
No, well, you can't keep all the people happy all the time. We all know that. Let's have a look at something else, just for the hell of it, Nigel. Because this takes me back to my school days. It's in the Sun, and they're calling it cheap as chips. There's a chippy that's going back to 1980s prices.
Ooh, it is. It's only for one afternoon.
I don't blame them.
Only to school children in uniform. We turn up in uniform. But this is Nazar Iqbal from Birmingham, and he runs the Hotspot Chippy, and he wanted to give kids a taste of what he had when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So he gave them cones of chips for 20p. They were queuing around the block to get these, but he does point out potatoes are really expensive. He's got energy costs. He can't do this every day.
No. Do you ever get a cone of chips?
That was the best thing. A cone of chips, salt and vinegar, tomato ketchup on the top, and you walked on with that little wooden fork.
Little wooden fork.
I mean, the best thing. I mean, the 1980s, an extremely good decade.
Yeah. It's the ultimate comfort food, isn't it? I actually think best eaten on a drizzly day.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something about it. It's the warm and comfort.
Except young people aren't actually going for fish and chips now. They're preferring other things. So what you want to do is get back to those traditional British meals. Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a vote winner, Nigel.
It could be.
Yeah.
Fish Fridays.
Put that on a poster for you.
I think there's a lot to be said for a bag of chips, actually. I often just get chips and nothing else.
Yeah, I do the same.
If you get a big portion, it's enough.
Have to have fish with it.
Cod or haddock.
No.
But it's so expensive. I don't know about where you guys are, but it's about £14 for a meal.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, this is the point that Nasser was making. Uncle Nazar's called to the locals there.
Nice.
That it is terribly expensive now.
Well, the kids will enjoy it, I'm sure.
20p, that really does take me back.
Yeah.
20p for a cone of chips.
That was more like it, wasn't it?
Those were the days. All right, you two, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Good to see you both.
Claire, Nigel.
Here's the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some mist, some fog in places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you to our global community for watching and listening to GB News. We're not only the #1 news channel in Britain, we're chosen by you around the world.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A77 northbound at Belfield to Grassyards, a broken down vehicle is partially blocking the road. Around Cardiff, the M4 eastbound at junction 33 by Capel-Lanilturn is sluggish with heavy congestion. In Wigan, the M6 southbound entry slip at junction 26 is shut after a crash, so allow extra time. In Warwickshire, the M6 southbound between junction 2 and junction 1 has road management, with 2 of 3 lanes closed, adding lengthy delays. And on the trains, Chiltern has major disruption to and from London Marylebone, and Great Western has replacement buses between Liskeard and Looe. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's just 3 weeks left to grab your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make 2026 the year of yes. That's yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to making all of those dreams come true this year. Just make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. Well, it's all about the fallout today as Robert Jenrick defects to Reform.
Well, he claims that the Conservatives broke Britain and uses the opportunity to attack his former colleagues.
The Conservative Party in Westminster isn't sorry. It doesn't get it. It hasn't changed. It won't change. It can't change.
Well, Kemi Badenoch hits back and says, good riddance.
The public are tired of all of this psychodrama, all of this personal ambition, everyone trying to, harm the other person. I'm sick of it, and I'm just done. My message to Nigel Farage is Robert Jenrick is not my problem, he's your problem.
Well, earlier we spoke to the Chief Whip for Reform UK, Lee Anderson.
For a rehoming service for true British patriots. We rehome them, we give them a little bit of love, and then we put them back out there into the field to fight for this great country of ours.
Well, however, the new Shadow Justice Secretary, Nick Timothy, insists the move demonstrates the difference between Reform and the Conservatives.
Actually, one of the things about yesterday that I think was really important was the contrast between Kemi's leadership as somebody who acted decisively and takes very seriously those challenges, and the sense of backbiting and backstabbing.
Nigel Farage gives any defectors until May the 7th to come across. That's the deadline. Who might join Robert Jenrick in this growing Reform UK party?
Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado gives Donald Trump her award during a meeting at the White House.
A lone British officer is sent to Greenland as NATO allies have begun deploying military personnel to the territory. It's as diplomatic efforts in Washington collapsed over President Trump's demands to take control of it.
Under new plans, veterans will be able to be recalled for service until they're 65. It's aimed, apparently, at preparing Britain for war.
The deadline for submitting evidence to postpone local elections has now passed, with millions of people now seeing theirs delayed.
A fair few showers around today and quite blustery, particularly towards the west and southwest. And then overnight, watch out for some fog and low cloud developing. I'll have the details coming up.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Right, well, what a day yesterday, and the fallout is going to continue for some time, actually. So how's it affecting Labour? Let's talk to the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, Pat McFadden. Pat, it's always good to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I mean, look, you can gloat over damage to the Conservatives and all you like on this. The one thing we know for a fact coming out of what we saw yesterday is that somewhat a household name, apparently, from the Labour Party is next on the list, and we're going to find out who's defecting from Labour next week.
Well, look, yesterday was just a continuation of the chaos we've had on the Tory right for many years. I mean, Robert Jenrick's got form as long as your arm in terms of the record of the last government. The only difference is it's now being played out over two parties rather than one. I mean, I haven't been watching the traitors on TV, but I don't think I have to when you've got this Westminster drama playing out. And for us, it just underlines the importance of getting on with the job of serving the country, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Now in Newark, Robert Jenrick's seat.
I missed that. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Would you like to see a by-election in Newark, which is Robert Jenrick's seat?
Oh, To be honest, I'm not focused on that. We're focused on the better economic growth figures that were announced yesterday, the fall in NHS waiting lists, standing up for online safety, and the kind of changes in the welfare system that I'm announcing today. I believe that this chaos on the right is just an enormous distraction. I appreciate it can suck up a lot of media energy and be exciting, but it doesn't deliver anything for anybody, and you don't just have to take my word for it. We saw it play out during the Tory years in power, and it just left a lot of problems which were unresolved and which we're now having to deal with, and that's what we've got to do in the best interests of the country.
Yeah, but who's going to believe you, Pat, when you talk about, you know, watching? It's like watching traitors, watching what's happening on the right of politics in this country. The very same could be said about the Labour Party and indeed potentially the front bench.
Well, look, I don't believe that's the case. We're announcing important changes today in the welfare system. I'm announcing a change in benefit entitlement for people who've been convicted of serious crimes. I think that's an important measure of justice. We're doing other changes in the benefit system, such as renewing the gap between what people get for being long-term sick and standard unemployed, and we're increasing opportunities for young people. That's the kind of thing that the Labour front bench is doing, and these are important changes for the country.
The West Midlands Police Chief Constable Craig Guildford is still in his post. That's despite huge pressure for him to resign. That's despite the Home Secretary saying she doesn't have confidence in him after that damning report into the banning of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from a football match in November. Does he need to go? Does he need to resign?
Yes, I think he does. I don't see how his position is tenable. As you said, he has lost the confidence of the Home Secretary. The Conservatives changed the law to strip Home Secretaries of the power to hire and fire chief constables, but she's made her position clear, and I don't see how he can carry on in post if he doesn't have the confidence of the Home Secretary.
But there's no point blaming the Tories for stripping that power when, as we understand it, she has the power under Section 40 of the 1996 Police Act. She has the power to, in effect, force the PCC to take action, and she hasn't done that.
Well, she's made her position clear. She launched a report on what exactly happened with the Maccabi Tel Aviv Aston Villa football match. When she found that, she found that the police's story didn't stack up, and therefore said that she had no confidence in the Chief Constable. Now, I support what she said. Both the Home Secretary and I are West Midlands MPs by coincidence, and I don't see how our local Chief Constable can carry on if he doesn't have the Home Secretary's support. So I hope he comes to that realisation pretty soon.
Can I drag you back to Jenrick? Just because the Prime Minister said last night that Mr Jenrick had been making toxic comments to divide the country for months. What has he said that isn't sort of plain reality?
Oh, he was talking about not enough white faces around. You heard his comments. I mean, I think that there are people in politics who think that whipping up anger and division is a good political tactic because it can get coverage. Now, it can get coverage, but it's irresponsible. It's not the kind of country that we want to live in. This is a country where we have people of all colours, all faiths. That's what modern Britain is. That's what modern Britain is going to be. And the task of leadership is to bring people together, not to divide them, however much media attention that attracts. So I fully back what the Prime Minister said last night.
Pat, do you think we're seeing a realignment of British politics? What we saw yesterday was the Tory star player, as many would describe Robert Jenrick, the most popular Conservative MP, according to Conservative Home. He defected to Reform. We're now hearing about a Labour household name, a very well-known Labour person defecting next week. Is the world of politics changing?
I think it's a continuation of chaos on the right. You mentioned there's talk of a Labour defection. I don't know if there'll be one or not, but even if there was, this person, whoever they may be, would be joining a right-wing project that in its foreign policy terms repeats the lines of President Putin. In domestic policy terms, doesn't believe in the model of the NHS. So whether it's in foreign terms or domestic terms, it's a right-wing project which I believe poses a big risk to how this country's governed and its national security. So I don't really mind who joins it. Our job is to serve the country and to make sure that we stand up against this project and defeat it at the next election.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on May the 7th, isn't it? And see whether people agree, particularly in red wall areas, agree with you or not. Pat, we've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it. We should say as well, just before people start messaging in, there was a very, very long delay on that, you may have noticed. So it's very hard to interrupt someone when there's a big delay. It ends up getting very messy. Thankfully, there's no delay with Christopher Hope. So we can interrupt you left, right and centre. I mean, you had a starring role at the press conference yesterday. It was the most incredible day.
We were hooked.
It was popcorn day in Westminster. We weren't expecting that. It was meant to be a day about delayed local elections. 4 million people denied that a vote. The deadline was last night. We'll hear next week how many more of the 21 Labour councils, 3 Tories and 1 Lib Dem council will delay those elections from May. I spoke to Steve Reid, the local government secretary, for my podcast. I should say, by the way, Pat McFadden, the third cabinet minister to say Craig Guildford should resign. Steve Reid, Wes Streeting, and now Pat McFadden. It's extraordinary he's still there.
But why hasn't the Home Secretary acted then? Under that sort of tight way that she can?
Because she can say she lost confidence, but it's really down to the Policing and Crime Commissioner, which Labour are sacking. He's deciding by I think in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I think it's difficult to understand why he's still there, but there we are, and that's what the politicians are saying now. But back to Reform UK Extraordinary. Looking forward, who's next? Who is this Labour figure on Tuesday? We're seeing live on GB News. That's the next Labour defection. He needs Labour defections because he's got a lot of Tories there. Tories 2.0, the idea that in 2029 you vote for the Tories who failed last time with Reform or the future under Kemi Badenoch, that is sticking. I think on balance, though, Robert Jenrick is a good signing. He gives immediate authority to his, front bench, top team. There's no front bench yet. But we are seeing jobs being announced by Nigel Farage in a few weeks' time. And that could be interesting.
And that will be a fascinating time because I'm very interested in the dynamics now within Reform going forward, because we've seen that very public spat, haven't we, between Zia Youssef and Robert Jenrick on X. Has all of that been put to a side? And then between Nigel Farage and Robert Jenrick, we've got 2 very big personalities there, 2 very good media performers.
No
Do we trust that Robert Jenrick doesn't want
no
leadership?
Promises of anyone. I mean, the old joke is that young cardinals vote for old popes. Nigel Farage won't go on forever, and Robert Jenrick is young, so maybe he's thinking after the election, if it doesn't work out, or shortly, I could take over from Nigel Farage. That's possible. But I think, the worry for Reform is they're bringing in the Tories, who had disloyalty like a virus running through their parliamentary party. That could be arriving at Reform stores, and that's not what Nigel Farage wants. So politics is getting more and more interesting, but Reform is strengthening. But I think equally, Kemi Badenoch looked quite strong too in the way she responded.
She did in her own way. It's whether it washes with all of it, whether it washes with the public, which is the key with this. And it's we'll find out in May.
Yes.
Won't be really. Anyway, you mentioned Steve Reid on your podcast. What did he have to say? I know we've got a clip we can play in a second.
Well, if we can, be great. I mean, he says that it's not denying democracy. He put the other side of this idea. He says there's a cost of taking away savings money by removing duplicate councillors, 35 million spent on potholes. That's the government's case. He also talked very interestingly about plans for this new Islamophobia definition, which we think is coming very shortly, which implies next week or the week after. But here's what he told Chopper's Political Podcast.
And it's not denying democracy. You know, I believe strongly.
That's what critics say, though. They say it is.
Of course they do, but they're wrong. They're wrong. It's speeding up elections to the new councils that will replace the councils that are being closed down. And I think that is sensible. We're looking at councils that will be there for the long term. Any elections that are delayed, it will be for a year. The elections would take place to the new councils we anticipate in 2027. But it does mean we can fix the problems that people are seeing in their streets faster, and that is why, after all, people take part in these elections.
And there we have it. That's Steve Reed talking to us for Chopper's Political Podcast. He also talked about the Islamophobia definition 3 times. That won't be a backdoor blasphemy law. That will be debated heavily when it happens on GB News.
Did you manage to ask him about the Chinese super embassy?
I asked him, of course, Ellie, and he said he can't comment at all because of his quasi-judicial role. But we're expecting that next week. We're expecting it to go through, despite those concerns about those 208 rooms at the basement there. Some of them running alongside cables going back and forth to the city. Will that allow the Chinese to snoop or disrupt those communications? Not sure. China would say no, of course.
Well, there's a surprise. Lovely, Chris. Thanks very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
Right, time is ticking. If you want to win £85,000 in cash, tax-free, you've got a fortnight left. Here's how you enter.
There's only 2 weeks left to ensure you're in the draw to win our biggest cash prize so far. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
Hi, I'm Jane from Manchester. I won £54,321 with the Great British Giveaway, and the money went into my account on the Friday. Every stress just seemed to disappear.
But you have to hurry, as lines close on Friday the 30th of January. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 9th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, do stay with us. Still to come, under new plans, veterans will be able to be recalled for service until they're 65 years old. It's under measures aimed at preparing Britain for war. We're going to be talking about that next.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Now, military veterans aged 65 or up to 65 could be mobilised under new powers to prepare the armed forces for war.
Yes, the government is set to increase the age of which the nation's pool of retired soldiers, known as the Strategic Reserve, can be called upon from 55 to 65.
Let's talk to military historian and ex-reserve officer, Dr. Peter Caddick-Adams. Morning to you, Peter. Presumably, they would have had to have left service comparatively recently before that age point, would they?
Well, normally you would carry on until 55, and then that's your sort of compulsory retirement age. What normally happens is whenever you leave the military, you're given the option of signing on to the Strategic Reserve. You keep some kit, you're given a retainer, and the idea is that you can be recalled at any time. And it's hardly ever happened. The last time I remember was about 1984, I think. So the potential has always been there. It's been used yet less and less. And now we've got this, odd anomaly that the military retire at 55, whereas everyone else retires at 65. And so therefore, why not bulk out the potential Strategic Reserve? And that's what's happening or the plans have been announced, and that will come into force next year.
And how would it work, Peter? So let's say there were to be a crisis. People up to the age of 65 would be mobilised. Would they then be retrained before re-entering? I suppose it depends on how long they've been out of the armed forces for.
Well, one of the problems is the connectivity between the Ministry of Defence and where all these veterans are, what they're doing, what they've moved on to in civilian life. No, this is very much horses for courses. And if you look at the Ukraine war and the way we use military personnel now, this is all about media analysis, psychological warfare, drone operators and assemblers, all sorts of people connected with the business of modern soldiering, which doesn't even necessarily involve wearing a uniform or even reporting to a barracks.
Yeah.
They will be incorporated. That's why it makes so much sense bringing in people who are that much older, because they can contribute so much more with the wisdom of their years and the way information and cyber lead so much modern warfare.
All right, Peter, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Now, Britain's Newsroom, coming up at 9:30. Alex Armstrong and Miriam Cates are here to tell us all about it. Morning, you two.
Good morning. Good
What have you
morning.
got for us?
Big show, really big show. Of course, we're looking into all the fallout from Robert Jenrick's sensational defection yesterday. Kemi Badenoch is going to join us at 11 o'clock, so we've got lots of questions to ask her. And
Followed by Danny Kruger, who, of course, until yesterday was probably the most high-profile reform defection and was Robert Jenrick's campaign manager when he stood for leadership back in 2024. So lots of analysis with us, lots of other stories as well, latest on Iran, the abortion figures, so do stick with us. But first of all, we've got your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Across western and southwestern parts, it's going to be quite blustery and showery through today. Further east, a greater chance of staying mostly dry. Can't rule out a few showers pushing their way east and northeastwards as we go through the day, but most of the showers today, they're going to be in the west and southwest. And here we are likely to see some flashes of lightning, a bit of thunder mixed in, even some hail as well, and watch out for those blustery winds too. Lighter winds further east and some decent sunny spells, and temperatures around what you'd expect for the time of year, just about getting into double digits towards the south, a few degrees lower than this further north. As we go overnight, the blustery winds in the southwest, they will be easing, but we're going to see further showery outbreaks of rain making their way north and eastwards across many places. Some of them could be a little bit heavy, could even be some winteriness over northern hills. With the winds dropping out, there's going to be some low cloud around, some murkiness, some mist, some fog in places, and even where the cloud clears, well, we could get some fog patches developing there as well, and also a touch of frost in some parts too. Through Saturday itself, worth noting any mist and fog could be pretty slow to clear. Some of that low cloud could linger all day. Otherwise, there will be some brighter breaks developing here and there. A bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to occur. If you get any sunshine and don't get those showery bursts of rain, not feeling too bad for the time of year. But if you're stuck under that fog or cloud, well, it's going to feel pretty cold indeed. Again, into Sunday, there could be some fog around, and this could be quite long-lasting. Also worth noting the potential for some damp weather across some central eastern parts of England, but signs as we go through into the afternoon of a bit of sunshine developing across parts of East Anglia and Kent, and also further west some sunshine breaking through across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland and Western Wales. Temperatures similar to Saturday really, if you're stuck under the cloud, feeling pretty cold again. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across social media. We are truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. M4 eastbound at junction 33 near Capel Lanhill turn is congested due to lane restrictions. In Warwickshire, the M6 southbound between junctions 2 and 1 has roadworks with 2 lanes closed and delays of around 1 hour. In Suffolk, the A14 eastbound between junctions 47A and 49 at Stowmarket West has a crash blocking 1 lane. And in Kent, the A21 northbound